hangry wife, why do I like dividends? Well, because you get paid to own the stock, and then you can just use that payment and buy more shares. That's why I like them personally. But man, SpaceX, yeah, we're Aurelio Pinto, go SpaceX, says Katina Man to the short side. Mike Peter Ryder, nice work there, brother. Our boy Blicky Spears, elevators make me fart in the chat as well. It's good seeing you back in there. John Disick, any relations to Scott? I don't think so. Ramin would know who that is. In slow motion, you know Scotty? All right, man. It is 2 o'clock. Yeah, shout out to everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic Juneteenth holiday. I wanted to go hiking tomorrow, but it looks like the overcast and the rain that we experienced over the past couple of days.
Outside, like not long ago.
So maybe you'll dry up, but don't forget in the trees, my friend, it takes a little longer for things to dry up.
Well said.
You know what I mean?
Said. All right. So, hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. But it's not the weekend yet, everybody. So welcome. It's afternoon time. Remember, it is the end of the trading week anyways. I mean, it's not really the end of the week, but it's the end of the trading week. And we have to remember something's happening on Sunday that we didn't mention in the morning show. I don't know if you guys did. Father's Day this weekend. So you know what to do. Everybody knows what they have to do. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But wow, 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 wow. About the market, almost 2.5%. We were 2.5% to the upside at the highs. Huge, unbelievable reversal from what we saw after the inaugural Fed meeting for our new Wolf of Wall Street, our chairman, the new chairman of the Fed. First press conference, a lot of people said it was pretty hawkish and the new direction wasn't necessarily, I don't know, it didn't seem like it was that well received. We're talking about how it wasn't really that bad in terms of price movement, but let's be real. This is a huge reversal. You have a wealth of stocks that have made some all-time highs today, pressed back into some local highs, V-shaped reversals. You have just about everything out there for the bulls to be in love with today's market, and this is what bull markets do. They show a lot of resilience, And the thing about a bull market or a lot of strength when you find it is, for a lot of traders, it can lead to a certain problem, right? We've all been there before. You see a stock running, you panic buy at the top, it instantly reverses. Sound familiar? Yeah, probably should. That's not bad luck, it's a broken process. Today we're gonna try to show you an order technique that makes every trade come to you. You set it, you walk away, and only get filled at your price. No more chasing it, no more FOMO entries. This one trade cuts losing trades in half. Let me show you exactly how it's done. We're gonna throw it up to Sean, and he's gonna give you the juice.
All right, here we go. Thank you so much, Neil. Look, this is the Stop Chasing, Start Planning segment here. I feel like this is so important. We do it all the time on the show, and you get a little bit of FOMO. You hear news, you hear the FOMC, there's a breaking story somewhere, and you're just like, oh my God, I got to get in. And what do you wind up doing? Is you hit a market order, right? And that's what we call the chasers. So it's like you call up the symbol and you just go boom, and you get right in, whether it's long or short. And the problem with that is that's an immediate panic, and that's not very rational. You're just getting in because you think the move is going to extend, but maybe you don't even have the right catalyst behind you. Maybe you're not even sure of what that story is, but you hit the market key anyways. The problem with that is not only will you get terrible fills, but that is called slippage. So you might not even get the price that you want. You try to hit 5, next thing you know, you're going long at 5.15 or vice versa on the short. So that's part of the problem, is when you hear that first story, you start throwing out market orders. We do not want to do that. That's amateur hour. We're trying to do a professional trade, and that's where limit orders comes into play. So what we're trying to do is identify certain areas where we can place limit orders, right? That's going to be key support areas, maybe even something called volume weighted average price, otherwise known as VWAP. You're going to look for volume. You're going to look for key areas of support and resistance. That way you can put your limit orders there, and hey, if they fill, then you're going to get the position that you've pre-planned and that you like, instead of chasing everything here with market orders. Here's a perfect example, and this is actually JP Morgan, but it doesn't really matter. Here is a level where we started to break lower, and this is actually news based on the Fed. So right here at 2 p.m., we're looking at a bank stock, right? So when we're looking at FOMC or Fed or earnings or whatever you're looking at, try to find some key levels. And what we're talking about is key levels, not only numerically, but also levels of support and resistance. I've identified right here $37, and look, that's a wick top. It's also the top of the day earlier on. When the Fed numbers, or when the number hits from the Fed and we get no change, what winds up happening is the market comes back in. Instead of hitting a market order somewhere in here and getting short, we've identified an area where we would like to grab that trade, and it's 37 even or 36.50. And when we look over here, there's also a VWAP possibility. There's session landmarks and psychological marks. The psychological ones are the 36.50s, the 37s. Here's 36 here, and here's 35. But what we're talking about with landmarks are these highs right here that we've marked off, right? So including this 36.50 area, that is a very, very key spot, because that's where we started to wick up into these trades. Now, you don't ever get back up here, so you're not going to grab that fill before the news. But what we've identified is these little top wicks at 36.50. If during the trade you say, hey, I know I want to go short, right? The trend is down. Well, how about these areas? What about sitting here at 36.50? Look what happens. Boom, you get a trade there. You also get another trade at 36.50. Why? Because you've benchmarked against a past area. And what winds up happening is here it comes right back in. Check out VWAP as well. That's this blue line right in here. Look at VWAP, holding, holding, holding before eventually falling back in. So if you're using a technical level like VWAP, hey, what if you punch short and you get short somewhere here? Well, now you're short underneath VWAP, and when it rips back through, you panic and you probably get out of what should be a winning trade. Look what happens, and again, psychological mark, right? Look at 335 right into here. That's a level, bounce off, and that's why we marking it here. We're marking it here as well, bouncing off 335. But look what happens. This chart actually continues lower when we break 335 back there to the downside. So the key thing here is you have an intraday VWAP, which is nice, pretty straight and flattened out, right? Once it starts curving down, you know you might have a winner. You can also use this, getting short right into here, into these levels, and you hold it against some of these top areas. That's going to work out for you as well. Then you grab the landmarks. Well, we don't actually get back to the high of the day, but if you ever did, you come pretty close to making those your entry spots. So that could happen as well. And this is just a chart that we picked out of nowhere. The next one, the psychological landmarks, and I think we did a good job talking about those areas. Now here we go. Just set it and forget it. Often trading, we just confuse ourselves. Too many orders, not the right spots. Well, it's pretty easy. What are the catalysts? I gave you a brief one there. Yesterday, or whatever day you're looking at, it was the FOMC. So get prepared, whether or not it's a new IPO that's coming out, whether or not it's upgrades or downgrades, whatever your catalyst happens to be, wait for it, let it happen, build it for you. Then the next one, map out your levels. I think we did a good job there. And if we actually go back, you know, here are the levels, these wick tops, the intraday high, key psychological levels, right? So if we'll move forward again, the next one is, that's it, structural floors. Then place your orders. This takes 3 seconds. Find your levels, place your orders, push enter, sit back, relax. Then here's the best part. This is the part that I like. Walk away. You know, you already know where your orders are. And hey, if you don't get filled, if you're sitting up here and you don't get those fills, fine. We'll find another trade. Walk away. Do not have FOMO, as we write down there. There's going to be lots of opportunities for you to make a great trade, but you got to know your patterns and you got to know your spots. That's what we're looking at here at Trader TV Live.
That's what it's all about. Trade with precision, everybody. And let us know. We want to know from all the viewers. Like, let us know in the comments. How many times did you chase trades this week? And be real with us. Be honest. Because I know we all do. We're all going to be human. Shout out to Sean. Mic drop kind of moment, as always. The president, we expect a complete ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. That is from Truth Social. That would have just hit. Did USO even do a thing?
Oh my God, that went down.
Not really.
I went to 178.
It came out like 3-4 minutes ago, but I wanted to wait till the lesson was done to put it on the screen. I did drop it in our Trader TV Live chat as well.
As always, you know what we got to do.
Oh, USO's upside.
Much, Dara.
Yes. We need one. I'm telling you, we got to get the president to drop a line that thanks other people. so we can get a CEO one.
You have to find another CEO that has names similar to your guys' names, because I just looked out because he said Dara K of Uber's name wrong, right? And he just added an audible pause. So he has to, next time he talks to a Sean or a Neil or a Sharif or a Joe or a Sia or Ramin, et cetera, maybe we'll look out.
Yeah, but I feel like he would trash talk Neil Kashkari, so like that.
Oh, he's probably said that, and
that is a
great one.
Kashkari because he's too much of a hawk.
Right. But we could definitely find a Kashkari one, I would think.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's referenced.
That'd be a good one.
Crash.
We are hoping for a Kashkari with SpaceX right now. And, I mean, this is what we did just now, right? I mean, talk about waiting for key levels. There's 180, man. We got that a couple times. That's a 178.25 fill right there as we were doing that lesson. So it did definitely come back in a little bit. We just reshorted SpaceX right now. I'm going to sit here at 180. And I know it's not a huge trade right now, but just to get a little bit off because we had just gotten, a few more shares up here at 181. So if we can get a nice little move down, I'm actually betting 180.05. Hopefully we get some out. At that point, and then we'll see if it can run back to the downside. But what a nice move higher. I actually went in and bought a little bit more in my account right here. I think it was 172.50. I'm buying it on the CDR over there in Canada, so I think it was 29 and change. And if you guys are looking at CDRs, this is what we often, exactly. It was low 29s. It was right into here, so I didn't get that very bottom, but just into here somewhere, 29.11 or 15, something like that. So that's what I'm trying to trade off of, SPCX right there, .to, and it's not exactly, 1-to-1 yet, but they'll get that close. It's pretty close. So that's what SpaceX is doing right here. I'm trying to go short on it, and just thinking that, hey man, we did have that flushed out moment, and it wasn't really even followed by with too much volume as we were coming back in. So now the volume's died up. So I'm actually starting to think almost the other way around. Maybe we start to sort of fade back upside, like fade upside. That doesn't, I guess that makes sense. Head back up to the upside there a little bit as I guess the word is drift. I think
fade is still a reverse.
Yeah, I think we could fade.
Just use it for short.
So I was going to say, I think we could maybe drift then. I like that one better. Drift higher on low volume, but we're going to cover a little bit here for 30 cents and, just wait to see what winds up happening here with SPCX. But it's a name that I am on right now. I don't really like how we're resisting this 180, so I'm going to bid out a little bit more there. So we'll take a little bit more out here at 180. I'm also bidding 179.75. Maybe we do get an afternoon fallback here on SPCX. My stop is 181.
And we got a couple of super chats. Dog in this fight. Sean, can we get a bit more details? Oh yeah, what you thought of the FSD test?
Oh boy, we could definitely talk. We'll talk about that.
FSD test drive.
No? Well, no, I mean, I thought the FSD. Oh, thanks. I didn't realize we got it. Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, it's too bad I didn't take any videos there or anything like that. And I actually even, pulled over. And the car's for my wife, so I was like, let me put her in that seat there. And wow, there goes SpaceX right now. Let's go, man. I will talk about this for sure, but it's a little different here. Like I've got, sometimes it's easy to take your eyes off the screen if you're not like. I'm invested in this is what I'm trying to get at. If I didn't have as many shares, I wouldn't be so much into this. But okay, put an offer down there lower. All right, good. All right, so I loved FSD. I thought that it was very chill, very relaxing, but it did sort of create concerns for myself because I really like driving. Now you can easily take it over just by hitting the gas pedal or touching the wheel or whatever. It's very easy to take it over. You can even push stop right on your screen. Like there's a lot of ways to take it over. But I felt myself, and this is going to sound, I don't know, maybe it's first world problems. I don't know what it is, but like bored of just. I almost felt like I was my own. Limo driver basically. And it was just like, the wife and I are sitting there, we're talking, like literally just talking about, we could be drinking our coffees, we could be doing whatever, reading books, talking to our kids in the back. But it was taking over completely. We went on the 427, which is a major highway. It took us on that, it took us off that. It signals way more than I actually signal, so that's probably a good thing. And it was just like, it was a great experience, and it was in the new Model Y Juniper, so it had the 4.5 hardware upgrade, and apparently that's a big thing. And it was fantastic. And actually now, because I'm going to Vermont in, I think, a week and a half, I'm, probably going to buy FSD there for at least that month, at least, and then, just have it drive me all the way there.
We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, but then I might cancel it. But then I might cancel it because it depends. Let's see what happens. I really like even driving into work today. It's like
I bet you, but then you just.
And that's why I put it on Mad Max mode because honestly, I was like, why are we not passing this guy? And then I put it on Mad Max mode, and the funny part about that was, and Neil and I sort of covered this earlier, it started speeding. Like, it was literally going 80 kilometers in a 60 zone. And, like, that's big for around here. That's like, if you guys have 70 miles an hour, that's would be, I guess, 20 more. So it'd be like going 85 or something. And it was a residential spot. So it was a little bit risky. And I took it off, that Mad Max, immediately.
I'm going to
put it back to standard there.
And I think the viewers are going to back me on this one. All right, everybody. I want you to opine it.
Yeah, opine.
Is Sean really going to cancel FSD after he buys it?
It's more like, am I really going to buy it?
Type 1 you're going to buy it. Type 1, he knows he's going to buy it. Type 1 for cancel it, and type 2 for keep it. Start the voting right now. I mean, let's be real. You know, he's just.
It was a great experience.
He's gonna keep it. Listen to how he's talking about it.
Yeah.
Once you get it, whatever. I think he's gonna keep it.
Yeah, I might, but
You know.
I only drive 11. Like I drive 25 kilometers a day. Like that is like. That's 10 miles. Like it's like less, well, a little bit more than that. But at the end of the day, it's not like a huge decision for me. It's more for the wife. Like Marissa does not like driving on the highways.
So then,
no, but that's for my car. She's not in my car. We have multiple cars, my guy. So the thing is that I'm trying to buy it for her. We're gonna trade in. We have an Atlas. So we have an Atlas, which is, it has 7 seats. There's only basically 4 of us ever in the car now, with potential of 5. So we don't need that anymore. So I was debating, and the big debate is just we might not even get a Tesla Model Y. It's between R2
or the R2.
Yeah, it's that or the R2. But I'm worried about the R2 as far as the price, because if it does come with tariffs.
Yeah, that's something we have to figure out.
We have to figure that out.
That might not be. Well, we'll see what happens.
But anyways, FSD is awesome. More importantly, does anybody else have FSD? Forget about me.
I think a few people do.
It's just it's a matter of like, what are you guys thinking of it? Every single person I've ever seen in the chat that has FSD is in love with it. I mean, I think that's a big, headwind or tailwind for Tesla. Is that all the data that they've collected, the safety, and they've already got approvals for all of that. You see Waymo. I mean,
Waymo's
we don't have Waymo.
Right now,
we don't have Waymo here yet. But robo taxis, once those are in, I think it's hot fire, man.
Canada gets everything last. Oh, this is a different super chat. This is a different one. Nick Dubs, couldn't agree more on setting orders and walking away. I think sometimes that's what you got to do. Love the flat top breakout setup on CRISPR. Mind giving your thoughts? Well, I like it too. It just has to happen. Like, the longer the consolidation, the better the break. I believe in that. And CRISPR just cannot seem to get past. It's just 50 to 60 to 50 to 60 without actually making that flat top break. And if I had a key for flat top break, I've already said this before, I have flat bottom break, but I'm not going to hit that when you want the stock to go up. But yeah, the longer it wants to go sideways, the more it's coiling up and trying to go. So I think it does make sense. But the good thing about a breakout is you don't have to force it. It either breaks it or it doesn't. And when you're in this consolidation, you're either buying the bottom or waiting for the top break. So I think you got it right. But this is one, the worst part is like if there was ever a buyout here, it would just gap through and then you wouldn't get the breakout. That's the other side of the coin.
All right, so these guys were on our midday show, and it's Oragenics. We saw some updates, and they came on and talked about it, of Oragenics. Their ticker, of course, is OGEN, O-G-E-N on the NYSE American. This company has now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Oragenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Please go back to around 12:30 of today's episode, and you'll see Adara with a doctor. They were talking all about Oragenics, and I think that if you do have, an experience, and Joe, kindly shared some of his experiences, with concussions and everything, and it's not to be messed around with. So if there are any, any of you that are suffering from that, I do think the guy actually showed the contraption that they use and the intranasal, and I just think it's amazing. Just don't know where this technology has gone, so go check them out, symbol OGEN on your NYSE American. We want to thank them and for sponsoring the show and for getting the word out there. As Marissa just messaged me, this is no word of a lie. So my daughter was recruited by many teams this year and wound up switching over to Mississauga from Etobicoke, and so her old helmet is like a royal blue, maybe like a Blue Jays or Maple Leafs, like just a normal, like the blue that you think, like in the background. And Mississauga's is like a very dark navy blue, so we had to switch over helmets. And she just messaged me right here. Looks like Gia's royal blue helmet is broken, at this one spot that we knew was a little shady there. So we're just gonna make the switch over to a new helmet because the last thing, once you're playing these sports, man.
Once it's cracked, you're not allowed to use it anymore.
Well, that's the other thing too. So obviously we need to change it anyways, but it's just funny because no matter what age you're at, you could get in. We just showed, videos there of, getting hit by a car or falling downstairs or anything, It can happen to anybody at any age. So definitely whether or not, you currently are suffering or know somebody that is, not to be messed around with their concussions. But
yeah, not even a little bit, for sure. Just a little bit of housekeeping, if we can. The Nasdaq might be rolling over a bit. And someone asked, why are the oil futures moving? Well, here's U.S. So Brent also easing higher. It's a gentle, what's that wick in there? It's a gentle move up, but now all the way back to green here on U.S. So this could be a little something to cause the market to pull back a little bit. I'm in Rigetti from VWAP. I was short on a trend break, and then it bounced off VWAP, and I'm like, well, if I'm getting out at VWAP and it's strong, let's go long. So I might try another shot at this if we can get to that volume-weighted average price. But the other thing to keep in mind with the volumes that we're seeing, this is like a holiday, like day before a holiday on weekend. So right now, volumes might be a little bit lower. That's not going to last. There will be volume and volatility at this close today. This is the half-year rebalancing on the S&P 500. You've got multiple names going into the Nasdaq. So we do expect to see some movement. Don't sit around being like, oh yeah, it's a typical Friday. Like it might be slow and lower volume, but come 3:30, who knows, sometimes a little bit earlier. Like with Marvell, who knows? Like Marvell is projected to be a potentially like gigantic buy because of the addition to the S&P 500. There's no guarantee it'll come out a buy, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a heavy mover. Like if this comes out the wrong way, it probably freaks a lot of people out. So we're expecting a lot of volatility at this close, so don't sleep on it. You want to make sure you stick around the entire time. I'm just in the two. SSPC, determined myself that I wanted to take some fills and see if there are any like quick arbs on this. But I'm just playing it off of VWAP like you normally would. This is the inverse of SpaceX and doing some scalping on it. Oh, the other thing is I got to do this. I got to slap to fail. What was the name of that thing again? Cardigan.
Yeah, K-A-R-D.
Okay.
We were making fun of the sweater game there. Okay. Sweater games were not.
We were joking about
proper.
This. It's named Cardigan. It's a biopharma IPO. Whatever. We're not interested. It's not SpaceX. It's not.
Yeah, you tell them.
Yeah. Okay. Like, are you kidding me? It was as clean could be. The first candle is 10%. The second candle's another almost 10%. By the time this put in a red candle, it had already moved 20.
First of all, what price did it come out at?
So 16.25.
So that was what the expected price was, I think. So
I think that was right in the range.
We got it. I think it was $16 to $18.
16 even, I think, was the issue.
Yeah.
price.
So there you go. So it came out as expected.
It came out without even any hype, basically right where you're expecting it to, and then just fired up. Now, ultimately, the only trade. Look at the volume. The ones with the thing about these smaller ones, really, it's just about the opening liquidity. But I think got to get back into the mode of just if it's reasonably large enough, take them all. Like you have the ability to say, okay, well, this is 1/10 or 1/20th of what I like SpaceX for, or something. I'm just throwing that number out there, but not zero. That's my point. Maybe not zero on something like this. Because it's a strategy which is working, and if it's a strategy that's working, that makes sense. Why Rocket Lab is the stupidest while joining the Nasdaq 100? I'm assuming you mean why is it going down today when it's joining the Nasdaq 100? It's worth keeping in mind that this sold off, and all the space names sold off.
Most of these names
after SpaceX. So this is the day of the SpaceX IPO. Since then, it's been finding resistance and trading in the same range. Also, oftentimes getting added to the index, it's like a run up, there's some buying that goes into it, and then it can be a sell the news event. It's got a couple things working against it. Now, the weaker it gets, maybe more interesting for the closing trade, given that it's down 4%, or if it gets down to that 100 level. But this is not completely abnormal. Like we knew it was going in for a while, and for most of this year, or last few months, this has been trading off the SpaceX hype and then the pullback. And I think you're just seeing a little bit more of that. The wealth of names are going in today. It's not just Rocket Labs. A-Lab is another one going into the Nasdaq 100. I want to say, was it CoreWeave? Might have been CoreWeave.
Yeah, it's CoreWeave.
Yeah, CoreWeave, a couple of others. Yeah, Nebby. So there's many things that could be interesting at the close. I have a quote board that I'm going to throw up. So at 350, I can monitor them all, and just the ones that we're interested in, because a lot of big up weights and down weights. And next week, SpaceX will be the SMCI. Yeah, the SMCI. No, not SMCI. MSCI. Got the stock on my brain. The MSCI is adding SpaceX next week, Friday. So there's going to be some really interesting closes. Let's go up to the wall.
To the window.
With Adara.
And to the wall.
Another edition of To the Window, To the Wall. And today we're going to look at billionaires, or in the case of one of these individuals, trillionaires. This infographic is set to come out on Saturday morning, I believe, because yes, even on holiday long weekends, we have infographics coming through you the entire weekend on X at TTV Research. Let's get into this. I started editing this yesterday, and there's already actually been a lot of changes to this even since then. I mean, of course, Elon Musk here, top spot, $1.2 trillion net worth. Now, it's interesting. Yesterday, this is 1.3 trillion, so he's down 100 billion. I mean, nothing massive, of course, in the grand scheme of things, but interesting look here. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, co-founders of Google, in the 2 and 3 spots. 4th place, Jeff Bezos. Now, 5th and 6th actually swapped as of yesterday. Yesterday, Dell was 5th. Larry Ellison, Dell was 6th yesterday. Larry Ellison was 5th. Today, they've swapped. It's crazy to think Larry Ellison was actually the richest man in the world for like half a day in early September when Oracle had that rally. So interesting look here as well. Then these two here, Zuck and Huang, have more or less been in 7th and 8th place for the last little while. But then you've got 10th place here, Amancio Ortega. He was just placed here yesterday. Buffett was in 10th place. Buffett just got booted out here of the top 10 richest. Now, of course, we know these net worths are going to fluctuate. It's going to come. It's going to go higher and lower. But interesting look, as of today, around 1:30 p.m. Eastern, here's a look at the 10 richest men in the world. And again, if you want a closer look, you can find this on X at TTV Research, probably around, I think, 11:30 or 11:40 a.m. or so on Saturdays when I have this scheduled to post. Lots of infographics coming this weekend, guys. Back to you.
Neil, I got to go find that, and it's not out till Saturday. So, yeah, coming soon, and exactly, stay tuned for that. There's a lot of stuff going through here on Adara's page, and go find it out at TraderTV.
There's no on Marvell and the rebalancing.
Yeah, I was going to say right here, this is what's being rebalanced right here today. So you can go find this on the page, and I want to thank Adara for all that. As we finally break through 180, I'm starting to cover more of this SpaceX trade. I mean, it's $1 right now in the money, but I don't know if it's going to go too much more. It seems to be not wanting to break lower. We're going to wait for 179 flat fill now. All right, so this is what's being added. You know, you can see these are the visualized year to date. So you could definitely wait to see, like, you know, any of these names that are being added to the Nasdaq. And of course, you're being added to the Nasdaq because of, you know, your market cap, you know, the importance that you have to the index, and, you know, what sectors you're in, and just, again, you know, the weightings of your profitabilities as well. Like a lot of these companies right here, obviously not performing properly. So I'm going to go out and find, as I talk more about it, find out the exact restrictions and like how they choose who's coming out, how they choose who's going in. But this is what's happening. So 5 out, 5 in, right? And so it's going to be Astera Labs, CoreWeave, Nebius, Rocket Lab, Teradyne, and then as we go on the other side of here, I mean, Zscaler would be the one that's one of the most interesting, you know, because we've seen names get thrown out and then come back with a vengeance. If there's going to be any of them, I mean, I don't know enough about Charter Communications or any of these other names, but Zscaler being in the space that they're in, I think they would have a chance to survive, even though they're out of the Nasdaq 100. And the reason why it's so key about, you know, what's being rebalanced where and when is that there's so many ETFs, right? Like if you just look at an ETF that we trade on the show, TQQs, but then you go over to the actual Qs, like so now they're now going to have to hold in this ETF, right? They're going to have to hold Nasdaq 100. They're going to have to hold Astera Labs and CoreWeave and Nebius when before they didn't have to. So that's part of the situation where if you're going to mimic an exchange, you know, or in this situation, you know, a list of 100 stocks, just like the S&P 500. When you get a name like Marvell being added today, well, you know, if you're a fund running, your S&P 500, and all of a sudden, it's up 20%, but the S&P is up 25, you're gonna wonder, hey, what's missing? Well, you didn't put Marvell in, So this is what happens. You do get, probably falsified bumps on days like today. And I have an order to get out of some Marvell around 329. So that was basically the high of the day there. I put it in after this. So if it does come back up throughout this whole sort of melee at the end of the day, we'll get out. I actually just looked over. I actually now own more Marvell than I do as a percentage of the portfolio than NVIDIA. So I think that's, and we're just, again, pretty lucky to have been able to get on this name. And it's part of, we did put this contest out in January, and these are the real-time numbers of this. I want to thank Fabian for this. So, these are the numbers that we have here so far, and there's 5 of us in the green, Obi, myself, Joe, Adara, and Randy there, and then the rest. So it's like half-half, basically. And if you just go over to the portfolio, we have Marvell in there up 300%. So it's just, as NVIDIA's been doing absolutely nothing, it's Marvell that leads the way, and that's an 82 price level. That's like probably one of the last levels where I actually bought shares, but that was quite high. We've been talking about Marvell since the 60s. So I did a little bit of portfolio rebalancing today as well, and looking at that, right? And then I told you I did buy some more SpaceX. I don't know if this one's going to last. Well, it's going to last because I don't plan on selling it ever, basically. Well, not ever, but we talked about last time it was at 225, and I was like, man, we should probably be selling some. I think I was the only one that was saying that, and that makes sense, because a lot of people want to hold this forever. When it was at 225, everybody was like, man, this is going to the moon. Why would you sell at 225? Well, how about that's why? Because if you did sell some at 225, you're the smartest guy in the room because you get to rebuy it back at 180. So it's just like sometimes you're seeing these moves, and I'm going to take it the other way on SpaceX and just say, hey, if we could come back into, now these wicks didn't happen, we're not down at 150, but if we do come back into this area, I think that's another spot. So I'm going to buy a little bit more because we didn't get enough. I didn't get enough that I needed at 170 the first time, I think anyways. So we did buy a little bit more today at 172, and now we'll wait to see. And again, it was 29.11 or whatever on the Toronto one. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. But right now, it's having a hard time breaking through this 180. I'm going to take advantage of this move right now, get it at 10% what I have left at 70s, and let's see if it comes back in. Right now, it's SpaceX going to the downside. So. And
it'll be a little bit, like at least a month or two before we get the first earnings report.
Yeah.
I suspect that's when I'm going to get my stink bid fill. I feel like it'll take enough time, and then maybe like after the first earnings report, and maybe that'll give it a little bit of a drop.
Yeah, because they're not going to have any earnings.
No, that's sort of the thing. Like everyone's going to get a really good hard look at the valuation again, and then maybe that'll get the drop in there. But hey, like I believe in portfolio rebalancing. Like
I just never do it, and I have all these. It's been such a great 3 months.
I have like a thing about like if something I'm buying turns into. Like the comment you were making about
Marvell just is bigger than NVIDIA, but I feel better about NVIDIA.
This is what happened to me. Like it happened to me on Lilly, it happened to me on ARM, like where it's just like by definition, I'm taking 10, 20% off of these things because is this supposed to be a top 5 holding in my portfolio? Do I see it that way? As good as it is, if the answer is no, then I ring the register. And it's fine, and maybe that's the wrong thing to do, but you still have to have that belief.
It's been wrong every day until now, right? Because, the market's high.
Every time I've sold ARM, it's been wrong. But the valuation on that, I think it's a little bit insane. And at times, that's certainly part of it.
I'm going to cover a little bit more. I just want to answer this. Yeah, because Scott already heard my answer because he already said thanks. Yeah, it's SMA. I just, I don't need to worry about it exponentially smoothing out or anything like that. Simple moving averages is what I use because I'm a very, very simple man. And look, I don't, hey, what's up, Martel? You're in here as well. See if I can find this on here. This is just what it's been. All right, here, I don't know what it, right here it is, right here. What's up, Martel? Yeah. Oh my God! Now it's into 179. This is. I sort of mentioned already how this has been a pretty special couple weeks. 1 week actually. Yeah, it's 4 days right there for SpaceX trading. So I want to say thank you so much for the kind comments. And you're not wrong. Like I said, for myself, I've done better in the last 4 days than I would have thought I would have been able to do all summer. As far as a P&L stand of things. So yeah, it has been great, and you know, if I didn't have the show to do, maybe taking the summer off wouldn't be a bad idea. But the thing is that it just keeps on going. So I can't, like when I'm sitting at home, even though I have lots to do tomorrow, we have another tournament to go tomorrow, and she has 2 games tomorrow, and then I have baseball tomorrow night. I've got baseball all throughout the weekend. We've got hockey throughout the weekend. But, you know, I can't stop thinking about trading, and every time I'm not here, I miss it. So for me, I'm glad to be here, but I'm also glad that you guys are sort of, you know, seeing what's going on here with SpaceX. It's just been such a great trading opportunity. I mean, these are all shorts right here, right? So we shorted this earlier, which was huge today. This was a monstrous trade, set me off real perfect to start the day. And then right into here again, we just reshorted it. And the thing is, it's not a fluke, right? Because if those of you that are here every single day, and I mean, everybody around here sees, you know, what we're doing as individuals here, trading. But you could just see here on the sticky note, we have SpaceX short. You know, we wanted the Intel 130 long. I have to relook at that. SpaceX, forget about the prices. I mean, that was the pre-market prices, but we wanted short. Let's see if we get away for more continued selling. And then that's it. And then we wanted the Qs long at 80. It got as low as 80.50 or something. And now we're up freaking huge. 2.5% today, 2.25% actually right now. But all right, so we'll start to cover this little by little. But again, thank you for all the positivity there in the chat. It really means a lot to everybody around here, that is for sure. All right.
Good.
Yeah, we have
Jan
earnings
in the chat here. Well, next week we have earnings on Micron. Thoughts on MU next week? For next week, it keeps on going up. Well, there's a little birdie once said to me, the trend is your friend until the end when it bends. And every single time I've been asked about Micron, I've said basically the same thing, and so I don't think I'll say anything differently. There's only 2 things I'm watching for: the dip buy opportunity after what I think will be another big quarter that possibly they just sell off anyways. And I say they, I just mean the market sells it off anyways. It pulls back. If it continues higher, I think that pullback gives you the trend line, because all it has to do is go up for another couple days in a row. You could be at 1,200, then you get a 20% pullback. That would be on the trend. So that's what I'm sort of thinking. Think of it as, I made the comparison before to where we're at just recently with NVIDIA. Like where NVIDIA, it continued to put up great numbers, but it's like we've already been dazzled, and we're just going to start selling it off every single time. People take profits when we get the good numbers, and then you just got to be there on the trend to buy the dip. So it's still very much channel up until proven otherwise. I think that's the way to look at it. DRAM, obviously, you're just going to follow along. This time, we're going to the desk with Sia.
Ooh.
Let's take a look at the 3 major averages before we begin. The SPY, the triple Qs, and the Dow all in the green. The SPY up almost 2%. The triple Qs up 2.3%, with the Dow up 0.28%. We're going to take a look at 2 tickers right now that I have news for. We have Kroger Company, that is KR. It's tumbling more than 8%, down 8.38% right now. They reported their first quarter earnings. It was 1.58 per share. Earnings excluding items. Analysts, however, polled by FactSet anticipated $1.59 a share, but Kroger has posted a $46.12 billion in revenue for the quarter that exceeded Wall Street's forecast for $45.59 billion. Next one we're going to take a look at is Steel Dynamics. This company is dropped over 7%, currently down 7.2%, after sharing current quarter earnings guidance that was a bit disappointing to Wall Street. Steel Dynamics has now seen second quarter earnings in the range of $3.51 to $3.55 per share, while FactSet consensus had called for $4.16 per share. That's all. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much, CEC there. Anthropic lobbying the Commerce Secretary to lift the ban on its Mythos and Fable models. That is going to be, well, if we're talking about IPOs, I feel like we have 2 that have an opportunity to be. I don't want to say that they're going to be like SpaceX. SpaceX is very unique in a lot of ways, but they should be similar in terms of the trading opportunity. Let's at least leave it at that. Okay, I see Bird. It's not flying. I know you just wanted to probably put that pun in there, Big Neck, but it's not. It's up 11%. Oh, shoot. I knew this was going to happen. What's Smartbird? So AI pivot. They now call themselves Smartbird. See, I can remember the name of the company. It's not just Allbirds anymore. Very sideways, no action on this. I want to find something which is actually moving around a little bit more. I'm probably not going to get a reload in Rigetti. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Amazon, it looks like a trend break, and it's already rolled over. I want to find something that hasn't really broken down. Oh, this could be it. Just remind myself what I was also looking at. Any pops in BM&R, I want to try to fade. If we get back into VWAP, I want to go back over to this. I mean, crypto still, I don't want to say stinks, but I mean, what do you do? Bitcoin's at 62.7, so it stinks. Like the market's up a ton, 2.3%, and the crypto land is still lagging. So I want to fade BM&R going into the afternoon if we can, and then have an eye just on the outside chance that we start seeing early action on Marvell. I'm going to want to keep that one up, right? It's no guarantees, but I remember the volatility that Tesla had when it was added to the S&P 500. And this is not nearly as big, but I feel like the hype around it, the space that it's in, this one starts really dropping. There might be some chances at some reversions as we get a little bit closer to 350. So SC Mayo, yes, I would be looking to short BM&R, but at VWAP. Like if we can get back up here, press into the volume weighted average price, that's something that I would be looking for sure. And we have, I think I probably paid for locates on it. They would have been a fraction of a cent per share. So, there's always other vehicles. You could just look at ETH, I suppose. I just feel as if BM&R tends to move a little bit more than ETH is going to, being the treasury play. Although today, ETH, yuck. We always talk about how Bitcoin is not a very good looking chart. How about ETH? It's not too good either. What is that, CRM?
Exactly.
Probably didn't need to kick CRM when it was down, but when you're talking live, it's the first thing that comes to mind when I'm looking at a chart like that. This is going to be 13 days in a row negative for Salesforce. 13 days in a row. Even I'm thinking there's got to be a bounce at some point. I'm glad I didn't think that today. Man, the stock is in trouble.
I just heard Adair getting excited over there. Let's go find out what she's got going.
Usually when I get excited, it's a real weird catalyst, and this is no exception. DIS, Disney, trying to bounce a little bit. Taylor Swift just posted on X about Toy Story 5, or as she called it, TS5, saying, quote, "Oh, how I love this phenomenal movie. Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 is in theaters everywhere tomorrow," in brackets, 4 exclamation points, close brackets. So I guess Taylor Swift is getting excited here about DIS. Let's see if the stock can shake it off on this catalyst or continue to push higher. Back to you.
She wrote the title song.
That was a great one, man.
I think.
Shake it off. What a good reference there. And yeah, anything she touches seems to turn into gold, except for, of course, the Tennessee Chiefs there, which is good. Yeah, but I mean, I don't blame Travis. Is a little bit distracted. I don't blame him. But there we go, man. $100.50 this morning, all the way to the upside. And regardless of one of the biggest stars in the world promoting the movie, you are going to get a nice bump up because Toy Story has been forever fabled. I mean, I think it's one of the best animated movies of all time. I don't think there's too many people are going to argue with that. It's probably one of the best franchises of all time. Not too much argument there. I hope not. Toy Story just going to come out. It's been around for decades. It's our generation. It's our kids' generation, and it's our kids' kids' generation. Tom Hanks, I believe, still in it there. And it's been an amazing run for TS. Toy Story, and now it's Taylor Swift, TS. No surprise there either. So yeah, TS5. I didn't even realize it's dropping tomorrow. Probably out right now. Obviously on early previews and whatnot. So yeah, Disney, and I think Disney's fine here. Honestly, I think with gas prices and oil coming way back in right now. I mean, just seeing what's out there right now around here. I saw like 145 today a liter, and it's been an awesome opportunity to watch the reaction to the gas prices, and the oil prices. It's been nice to come back down around these spots, but I think Disney can benefit from that with more travel. It's obviously summertime right now. I'm going to assume, and you guys tell me, my kids are sort of past Disney now. We never even took them to Disney, but I think it's just travel, summertime. Prices coming down a little bit now. I think they're going up at the parks. There's also Disney cruises as well. That definitely has a benefit at some point. So yeah, that's what we're doing, man. We're trying to run it through here on Disney, and I think it's a long for a minute until we see some negative headlines about Mandalorian versus Grogu.
They'll figure it. Well, they have to have something that works, right? They can get what you can't ruin every. It's physically impossible to ruin every good franchise. So I'm glad to see that they've maybe got this one working. I'm sure we'll be watching it. Although I will say this, I love the Toy Story is a great franchise, but if you remember, if you're old like me, they did lift the premise from the Brave Little Toaster, which still holds up to this day. My daughter recently watched it with like
I don't know anything about that.
And I was like, did you like? She's like, yeah. I'm like, kind of like Toy Story. She's like, yes, absolutely it was. But we do have a certain friend of the show who is locked and loaded and ready to go. There he is.
He's locked and loaded.
It is Mr.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Steve Talman over from Trade the Pool.
There's Steve Talman. He's probably already seen Toy Story 5, right, Steve?
Yeah, you seen it?
Not yet. I haven't seen Toy Story 3, guys. I've been bad. I've got some work to do.
All right, yeah, let Steve go. You come back in 2 hours, let us know, review Toy Story 3, and then we can go over it. You know what, I have to admit it, I couldn't tell you the difference between Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, anything, but it's a big one there.
I think there's a fair in the third one.
Do you want to look at Disney quickly, Steve? I know it's not a name that maybe I'll give you a second to call it up, and maybe you have some information on some levels here, but we just did a brief little introduction at 2 p.m. about, not chasing moves, not having too much FOMO. So I feel like on a day like today, we get one of the better days in the last month on Disney, and maybe it is because of the fact that obviously oil's down. I think this is kind of a travel name and a vacation kind of name heading into the summer. But also on Toy Story 5, maybe we don't need to buy this big candle right here. Any thoughts on how Disney looks as far as, your charting and sort of your mind works when you look at that?
Yeah, sure thing. So it's looking okay for the first time in quite a while. As you mentioned, it has been a pretty drastic underperformer for quite a while now. What I'm seeing is essentially we have a downtrend line, we had a washout, now we're having a high or low being put in here. Looks very constructive in my book on this weekly chart. Let's throw some moving averages on there to confirm. And yeah, it's basically trying to get up over this kind of congestion between the 200 week, the 21 week that we're just clearing today. And then I bet on the daily there's some as well. Yeah, the 10 and the 21-day moving average as well. So this kind of rough area between 100 and call it 103 should be a nice little support, a little nice base. I think it wants to make a move higher. So this is the first time I've looked at the chart in a while. What I can say is that we've had multiple tests up here at the 120 level. That seems like the next stop up if we can hold over this weekly 200. But 102, great area to risk against.
I know we've asked you this a few times, but we always have new viewers. How often do you make a trade based on, thematic, like you think this is in the right space, or you're looking forward to something over the next, like I was just saying, maybe it's a trade for the summer or anything like that? Or would you enter a trade based on only that, or would you have to have a mix of that with technicals? We have Michael Noss, another, CMT on here, and he's always talking about, well, he doesn't really care what it is. He actually used a famous, and I feel bad always saying this, but when he was talking about crypto, he brought to our attention a coin called Fart Coin, and I really feel stupid about saying that, but it's funny because it worked. He called it up, he showed us some levels, and he's like, look, people are buying this name. I don't even know what it does. Obviously, it doesn't do anything, but it has movement here, right? So he's looking straightly at technicals. What sort of percentage would you say you use as far as, hey, it has to be macro plus has to look good on a chart? Are we at 20/80? What kind of ratio are you looking at? And how do you think about things like that Disney example or altcoins or anything like that?
Sure thing, great question. So what is it, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 split?
Right.
I kind of think about it like that. So 80% of my work is technical because I always think of myself as an aggregator of information.
Right.
I'm not an expert on any of these companies, any of these industries. I've barely been in the adult corporate world for a couple years myself. So who am I to judge? What I know is that I can read patterns well. So I outsource all of that, and then all of the traders, they're going to do what they're going to do in the market, and I'm going to read that. So as long as the charts are good, I can assume the fundamentals are good. I will do my due diligence and I'll double check. So there's a few metrics that I really like to see, especially on like momentum type names. I generally want to see, not completely emptiness in terms of the fundamentals. I want to see growing EPS. I want to see a company that's nearing or has reached an inflection point on the fundamental side too.
Right.
But realistically speaking, that comes in after the chart appears on my technical scanner, and it's just to check those boxes and make sure I'm not buying any lemons.
You were famously noted on our program a couple weeks ago when we talked about IPOs, and you were like, hey man, let them calm down for sometimes multiple years until you get some good information on them. you know, being a day trader, and I think it's easy to say that you and I would trade completely differently. I've made, you know, quite a good amount of trades on SpaceX since the IPO, and it's like all that I'm pretty much obsessed with right now. You know, some days short, some days long, getting in and out. And I know it's just a completely day trade kind of scalp. And I bought a little bit for, you know, the short-term run-up, what I think is going to happen soon when it starts getting added to various, you know, indexes or whatever starts to happen here, rebalancing. Have you traded SpaceX at all? And is there any sort of something that you're seeing right now? I'm going to think your answers might be a no on if you're seeing anything, but has anything come to your light or anybody asking you questions about SpaceX? And if so, what have you been telling them?
Well, you know, I got a few insights here. I had maybe haven't been trading it super actively like you guys, but I understand it because the liquidity is there. It's the hottest thing on most people's screens, and you're going to get some really nice moves. So we've been watching it. You can see some charting on the day one here in particular. We were looking at different zones, different levels, and basically anticipating if we get the break of the range of the high day, it should go for a nice measured move, which we had at around 200 or so. It overshot nicely. We started doodling. Don't mind these lines too much. The long and short of it is we're looking for a higher low. We were looking for it to take place somewhere around here in this kind of golden pocket between the 6.2 and the 7.8 fib. If we did find a buyer here, I think it's a valid place to look for a long for a kind of 1 to 3 day swing trade. The reason why I'm not taking it is just because we have all of this this kind of gamma to clear on this OPEX week. I want to see what the price does after this kind of first week is on the books. And if we can hold these key levels, this kind of 170, 175 zone, then I might look for a long. Otherwise, I'd love to short it because I think that it needs to get deflated much more. Question is, am I early? Do we get one more run, a double top? I'm not sure how it's going to play out, and I want to see next week.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is we haven't even had a report out of them yet. And speaking of which, we have a question from Pops Mafia in our chat, and he threw it in there like even before we came back on, and he specifically said, can you ask Steve how he trades at and around earnings specifically as a swing trader, right? Like what is your strategy involving earnings, trading around them when you see some technicals, just your overall thoughts. Obviously we have like Micron, which is going to move DRAM, which has been in a bit of a trend, so it could be around this, or just in a general sense, what your attitude as a swing trader is with earnings.
It's a great question. And shout out Pops Mafia. He's an OG from our chat, so good man there. What I would say is I generally like to wait. So I like to see the data kind of come in. I like to see how the market interprets that data, and then I like to play with the crowd. So usually I do post-earnings gap setups. So that's where the earnings play sets up. It pops on the earnings, of course, and then you wait for it to consolidate. Maybe 1 day, usually 3 to 5 days, sometimes a couple weeks, and you wait for the moving averages to catch up and for it to kind of rebase up at this higher level after it's found price acceptance. That's my favorite way. Besides that, if I'm in a play and earnings are coming up and the play is working, I will be trimming heavily into that print because I just got to recognize that if a play is working really well up into earnings, then it's starting to be priced for perfection. And my odds are starting to go down that I get an increased move on that actual earnings as opposed to just booking the win into that potential risky area.
Yeah, and you know what? A wise man actually once said, and you were just talking about moving average, that I don't pretend to be smarter than those moving averages. And of course, that wise man was me who coined that unbelievably poignant phrase. So, I'm just joking. Obviously, we'll credit that one to you. No, it's all about the technicals for sure. I want to ask you, if we can, just about trend in general. If there's a theme this week, I mean, we were selling off on the Fed for the afternoon, right? Like yesterday, we were selling in the afternoon. Today, it seems like everyone and their mother is at the all-time highs. We're looking at trends to the right of them, to the left of them, whether it's like Micron and DRAM or chip names like Marvell, Bloom Energy literally could be taking out, it's up 11%, could be taking out an all-time high in 5 minutes for all we know. It seems like there's a lot of exuberance in this market. There's a lot of breakout setups when a lot of people keep thinking we're making this top. So in an overall sense, like how are you positioned right now? Do you have anything that you're looking to get into as we find ourselves at a moment where, I'm asking myself half the time, like, hey, am I trimming these things? Like, are we getting too frothy over here? Where are you positioned, and do you have anything that you see as attractive as a buy entry as we sit at the highs?
Yeah, absolutely. So my whole thing here is watch the leaders. If they continue to lead and they lead on the way up out of these pullbacks and they break these highs and continue to lead going up, well, there's no reason to be in other things in my book. So I'm looking for, in the strongest sectors, both the leading names and also the new emerging leaders. So Marvell, for example, a new emerging leader on this massive influx of volume. This is a name that we called out on our newsletter, said, wait for it to come into the moving averages. So I put in this, I believe it was 280 was my level to get long into. I missed this one, to be completely honest, guys. I was not paying enough attention, and this, when I looked at the end of the day, it was an ugly candle. That should have probably been my sign that, hey, they're gonna shake people out, but close it ugly, but still over that key level that we're looking for. And then you can just catch these kind of trends to keep on going up and out. I expect Marvell to be a $500 company and not a $500 company in not too long. I'll get another spot to enter. Hopefully it is not too extended by that time. But what I'd like to see on a lot of these names that I'll be talking about is a break of the all-time high and the comeback, the add into that kind of retest of the level as the moving averages kind of catch up. Where's my marker? Like that. So that's kind of my bread and butter setup. Marvell, a top watch for me. I am in a little bit of Penguin here. Peng, another very, very strong high and tight flag name. Apologies for that alarm there. One other one that I want to put on your radar that I think has a lot of potential. VIAV in the photonic space. So we didn't get this look that I wanted it, but I still think that this one's valid if it closes strong. So these are some names to watch. Also because you mentioned Bloom Energy, which I think is an amazing chart and an absolute leader in every sense of the word. I mean, heck, play this one. I'm looking to get long on this one. If it does give a nice entry, I was a little scared by these top wicks, but this is on my radar. If you want another one that may run with this, it is a laggard, but FLNC, I'm really bullish on this one and in this swing trade as well. Thinking it's putting in a great daily candle. Sorry to yap, guys. I have a lot to talk about.
Well, that's what we're asking for. That's what everyone's like, yeah, what are the picks? Markets at highs. It's always interesting to see a bit of a take. And remember, for everyone that's interested in Marvell, we keep talking about if you're looking for a dip buy in that, every now and then the addition into the major index can be like a short-term sell the news, which gives you an opportunity to buy in on some dips. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. With that, before maybe we'll throw you back in a quick little second, the last thing I wanted to ask you about is, okay, well, it's witching day today. It's also major index rebalancing. Is there anything, for a day trader, obviously we expect some volatility at the close, you know, there can be some opportunities out there for the trade. Is there anything that you do with your portfolio to protect yourself against some of, sometimes we get some crazy swings. We've seen it in the past where you, like a random, and maybe something that's not getting added or deleted, has just an insane move that is really just 10 minutes at the close and then everything normal on the Monday. Do you do anything with your portfolio to maybe protect yourself, like widen some stops or take some profits, or is it kind of a nothing burger to you? It's a big day for day traders, though.
Yeah, it's very different for me in terms of day trading and like my position trading, my longer term stuff. I'll be honest, I'm a pretty low effort investor, guys. I like a chart, I buy some. If it keeps working, I'll add at logical places. If it doesn't, I cut it. But in general, I don't worry too much about stuff like this. Anything intraday like this, if my stop's that tight, there's a reason, and I want to be out of the stop or the stock on any weird volatility anyway. So for me in general, for the most part, I don't have hard stops. I have alerts in, and then I'll check the chart, and if it closes a 15-minute or an hourly candle below that key level, if I'm not seeing any reason to stay in this longer term position, then I'll cut it, you know, or maybe I'll wait for the day to close and then cut it. But this intraday stuff, it's definitely affecting my short-term intraday trades, but outside of that, I don't worry about it personally.
There he is. It's all about, I like that, low effort investors. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes it's okay to just chill and relax, just like your cat is right now.
That's the best thing to always be.
We see.
Is chilled and relax over there. Oh, there he is. Don't wake him up. All right, so just another quick one, and we'll let you go, Steve, because you just mentioned there, you know, you named some hot stocks, right? The Marvells, the Bloom Energy, and all that, right? I'm going to give you another one. But what I'm actually looking for is, and you showed the chart on Marvell, you know, does it break the highs? Will it come back? That might be a good spot because you admitted to miss that 280, which is very honest of you and appreciate that. I'm kind of the same way. I'm lucky enough to be in Marvell, but I don't have enough shares in ARM. And ARM, I think if we're going to have this huge CPU sort of boost that we're seeing now, we're seeing Intel going to the high side. We're seeing AMD today. I think there's a lot of need now, as we talked about with Lip-Bu Tan, CEO of Intel, coming through and talking about how, hey, we need more CPUs, to help manage us with all this AI inference. And, these GPUs need somewhere to go. And all of this stuff relates back to Foundry and Intel. But I think ARM, especially now, they have the mobile aspect of the chipset, but now also getting into the PC game as of their last quarterly report. And right now, ARM is just, wow. I mean, down into $300. This was a $300 name 6 days ago. Now it's $430. This was a $200 name, Steve, 20 days ago, now into $430 again. So are we talking about, like, today's another brand new all-time high? So I'm just fearful, and I think a lot of our viewers are as well, that if we don't buy ARM today, and it's not a FOMO trade, I mean, we've done the work, like we talked about, that 80-20. Now I'm looking for the 80 from you. I think the 20 means we buy ARM. It makes sense. It's in everything. We like the space. I think there's a bigger move coming for ARM, right? But where do we buy it? Because we're breaking out right now. Do we wait for it to rip to 480 and then come back to 430 to buy it? Or are we maybe dip buying right here at 400? It's sort of past breakout level. Like, give me a trade plan that you may have. If ARM was on your radar and you're not in, where would we be putting limit orders maybe right now to get ready for either a little bit of a move higher, or do we buy 10% today? Like, what would your trade sort of plan look like for a name like ARM? Uh-oh. Steve, I don't know about your mic. We are missing you for 1 second. Try again. No. All right, come back. Let our tech team work with you, and they'll try to get. Do you hear him?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay. So, Steve, we apologize. Looks like it's on our end, but once he's back, I'd love to hear that, because I think that's something for myself too. I mean, I'm looking up. By the way, here comes SpaceX. Now it's $1.70 in, and we're starting to get a little low. I canceled all my bids. We just got a bid at 178.50. Didn't even realize we had a bid there. But I've taken too many profits here at 179, so I want to let this thing now fall back in. I don't have another bid till 176, but now that I see where this is, I should change it. 177.50s. Okay, we'll put a bid there, see if we get that. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like I don't want to miss all these moves, right? Because I'm not in Micron, and every time it breaks a high, it's like you're waiting for the pullback, but then there isn't one, and it's just, there's been many pullbacks. Okay.
I think we have him back.
He's back. So we apologize for that there, Steve, but I think you probably heard my question. So what do you think about ARM?
Yeah, you can hear me here, right?
Yep, perfect.
Awesome. Okay. So ARM, I will take my victory lap a little bit. The best time to enter would have been when I came on the show a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and we talked about it in the 160s, 170s. But I think you're right. These leading names, they keep leading. The news keeps coming to build this narrative. I think you're dead on. I think they're going much higher. That being said, I need to recognize that when they're this extended, it's a bit of a crapshoot. It's really hard for me to give exact targets now. What I will say is, hey, default to these moving averages and use them to guide your risk. So first off, we have that 300 range down here. That's going to be our new, we really shouldn't lose that at all. And really, I think that we shouldn't lose this 21 moving average. That's your kind of bigger dip buy area. You can also play off the 9. And I think that's going to be coming up into this 400 level that I think you mentioned. You can look for undercuts and signs of strength. So don't just blind buy this 9 moving average. Wait for it to undercut and reclaim on nice volume if you want to take that stab. When you do that, that undercut becomes where you define your risk. That's how I would recommend playing these high flyers if you want to get a piece, because otherwise they might leave without you. This is how I recommended playing names like Micron, for example. But you can't just buy into these all-time highs like right now. You can. I don't recommend it, though. But for names like Micron, these high flyers, they will give you looks to get in. It just might be at a stomach churning level much higher. So if you were waiting for this 9 and you missed it here, you had to wait to buy it, $250 higher. But it only took a week or two. That being said, when you bought it here on the reclaim, that became a very safe trade for, another 50%. So you can definitely play these names, but just make sure you're defining your risk on the way up, and you're not going to get trapped in these big drawdowns that will inevitably come.
You a soccer guy at all, Steve? You've been enjoying some of the World Cup? You've been to any games or anything like that?
Well, I've been enjoying what I can find in between all of this streaming time, because we're doing an event for the World Cup So we're giving away a ton of cash, live, like real cash, not just accounts. And it's really fun seeing all these winners, but it's a lot of work, guys. So I haven't been enjoying the games. And any standouts so far that I should watch the replays of?
I mean, England-Croatia was a good game.
Well,
yesterday.
England-Croatia was fantastic. Absolutely
The
fantastic.
U.S. looked great their first game.
The Spain match where
Paraguay, I
that
think.
40-year-old goalie just standing on his head was insane, absolutely insane.
And then, of course, the team that's going to win it all, Canada, plays today as well. So you can definitely take a quick, there it is, take a quick shot at Canada today. But no, we're lucky enough in Toronto, we're hosting it 10 minutes away. So there's been a couple games that have happened here already, and the city is just absolutely on fire. Oh, the New York Knicks today actually have their parade. I wonder how that's going there. I'm surprised Wall Street's even open right now. But all right, any sort of random name? I mean, you've given a lot of names here today, but is there one that potentially you want to cover in the next 2 minutes or 1 minute just to give us one, and maybe we'll talk about it next time you're on?
Yeah, that's a good, very open-ended question. Man, what am I going to hit you with? I got you. How
Okay.
about LPTH? So
Ooh.
Light Path. These guys are going to be in like specialty, like photonics related, like very like bottleneck type companies here, where their big customers are probably going to need to, double, triple this thing's market cap in the next 5 years if things go as planned. On a long-term chart, this thing is just consolidating upwards, I would say, from $8 all the way to 15, 18 here. I think that this thing is still just consolidating before it makes its big move. In terms of the daily chart, it's just doing the repeatable pattern thing. So it reloads off this daily trigger, and then it basically forms a big flag and pops. Reloaded off the daily trigger, forms a big flag, pops. This time, it's looking stronger, and it's holding this 50-day very nicely. So I'm looking for a close over 1479, this 9 and the 21. And historically, that has been a really good chance to play it for a little pop here. And one of these pops is going to be the big one, where it just keeps going, just like other names that need to be re-rated, like AAOI. Guys, I missed this one in its volatility from 35 to 40. I was always saying it was going to go crazy, but I missed it. So I don't want to miss the next one, and I think this might be one similar play. So LPTH on a reclaim of 1480. That's what I got for you.
There we go. Always giving us something.
I like it.
You put him on the spot, and he knocks it out of the park. That's what it's all about. Steve Talman, enjoy a little cup, but obviously enjoy the Trade the Pool Challenge. I know it's a lot of work for you.
It'll be fun.
Congrats on all the trading and the awesome market that we're in. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Over to see ya.
Thank you so much for that. That was a great interview. Let's talk about the small caps. IWM currently on the upside, 1.5%. Let's take a look at two individual tickers I have picked for you right now. ABX down 4.5%. Abacus Global Management has announced LifeArc, that is an AI-powered lifespan modeling platform, and a strategic update including over a $500 million investment in Manning and Napier. Then we have MLKN, that's MillerKnoll, up 6.3%. It's set to announce its fourth quarter results on June 24 before the market opens. So the earnings are expected to be disclosed at 4 p.m. ET. So for the fourth quarter of 2025, the revenue estimate is $973.87 million with an EPS anticipated at 52 cents. Sending it back to you.
All right, thank you, Sia. Okay. What just happened to Iran? Iran, of course, has nothing to do with Iran, but there it is, the downside.
Yeah, no news on IREN. People asked about BE. I don't have news on that either, guys. Like, unfortunately, sometimes just the stocks will move, and there's no news, as we know. And we're heading into it's power hour now. We're heading into the rebalance. But you guys know if I see anything, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, that's strange because when you mentioned that BE and Iran, I mean, obviously both, in that power game, BE, they're different companies, but I just thought maybe one was going one way, one was going the same way, but no, Bloom Energy actually the other way up. I mean, this has been, why am I even buying Iran on dips, man? I should just be buying Bloom Energy on dips. We'd be long right down here, almost $100 in the money. We've been buying Iran off its 50-period moving average as well. I like the stock, but now it's coming right back in. I last bought it at 51. It's made moves up into 62 since then a couple times. And I think one time we bought it here, and we bought it at 50, right down here, 50, 51. And then we bought it again just over the last couple of days down here, same price. And it's having a little bit of a problem. So it is going to the downside. We did talk about Constellation earlier as well, CEG. that was up 3%. And names, like we've talked about it, man. I just think it's about that thematic talk here when we talk about power, right? We talked about GE Vernova and, all these data centers continuously, having to be built and, raising capital to build these things. And they're able to find it, right? I mean, Google went out and got 80 billion. We know the Oracle situation as well. That keeps going back and forth. Oracle's made a move over 200, 220, I think it just recently got to, or so. No, what am I talking about? 240 there, 250. So that's all the way back in now. And, it's just, it's all this whole sort of circle of funding that just keeps on going around and around. And, at some point, will the music stop? Yeah, probably, but it doesn't seem like it's anytime soon. And when it does, do the stocks have enough earning momentum moving forward that they can actually, live up to some of the high expectations as far as different PEs that have put on these name and market multiples, right? Because like if you put, a 20 multiple on an Oracle, what is the price that you get? And, at some point, there's going to be a slowdown in what, and we've already sort of got those warnings from many of these companies, including Oracle, when we saw that they had to raise, and that sort of started this whole move to the downside there because their current cash position wasn't allowing them to fund all the data center expansion that they had sort of booked out to, right? What do they call it? Future considerations, right? Or what CPOs? What is the terminology they use for the like the back orders they have? The back orders, like
RPO.
RPO.
Remaining performance obligations.
I was saying CPO. Yeah, RPO, C3POs. Yeah, the run pass option there. So we're getting ready for that. A little bit of that with some Jordan Love. But no, honestly, I don't know what to expect from a name like an Oracle. But these are the problems. And I think that's when you're going to get up and down movement with stocks like an IREN, like we just talked about, like a GE Vernova. You want to pick the winners and you want to be in the right space. And, Oklo got us, and we're going to go to Neil in a second. Oklo got, some talk today, so it's moving in SMR. They can move in different ways. NewScale is not the same company as, this is 1150 now? Oh, this is a nice move today. Yeah, wow, up 10%. So, this is what I mean. Names that are starting to get some juice behind them. Yeah, you want to look to see, and this is a little different than what Steve said, keep trading the winners as they start to break out. But SMR at some point, I think, is going to really want to be in your portfolio. That's a $15 break right there.
It's a shot play.
Yeah, so I think you want to wait to see once it breaks there finally. But yeah, SMR right here, bouncing off of $9 a couple times. Maybe something available there on SMR. But you get a 10% bump. But even if you're long, that's why I think it's a day trader or a swing stock right now, because you're getting these 10% moves daily, it seems like.
Yeah, it can draw that back. That's the thing. There's a lot of volatility in a name like an SMR. There's a lot of volatility in these markets too. But you know what? That's movement. And if you're a sophisticated trader, that means great opportunities for you. Beta Pro by GlobeX, who we all know offers Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs. And they're built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. The triple levered bull and 3x bear ETFs that are tied to the Nasdaq 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades. They provide amplified daily exposure and give traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. They're also currency hedge these strategies. So they offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian loonie. So if you're navigating short-term market moves, whether they're up or down, Beta Pro is going to offer the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, your objectives, and your risk profile. So trade tactically, learn more at betapro.ca. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. Take advantage for sure. Okay, well, I see this from, first of all, some housekeeping. Every single time, and someone was asking, like SSPC is just the inverse. So it's bouncing off of just underneath VWAP, where SpaceX is shorting just underneath VWAP. But Rigetti's not really moving much. I have a trailing stop now in. I was looking for like 2090, kind of obviously this high, because that's how I roll. But if it loses this little trail level here, I'm just going to get out of it. You're into power hour. We know it's the end of the, well, it's not the quarter end, but it is. But it's the semi-annual rebalance. That's what I was looking for, right? So we get the semi-annual rebalancing here in June, and almost anything and everything could just randomly come out with an imbalance. So for me, tighten some stops, take some profits if we can. And if there's one name that I think we got asked about a lot this morning, and it never, and apologies, because I know we didn't get to it, and that's IBM. Now, lately, and I'm not talking about now in IBM, but I'm talking like the last few months in IBM, right? Going all the way back to the beginning, not the beginning, maybe more February than the beginning of the year. IBM has been a bit more of a roller coaster stock than you would expect because it's getting, it's lumped in with the software names. So despite being what I think is a fantastic pure quantum play with actually gives a dividend, they got a standard business that they can work back into, a core business that you have some cover that you might not with some of the other quantum names like obviously like a Rigetti, which I'm in right now. And this has just been par for the course. However, there's been a lot of buyers at the 220 to 230 level. This is a stock where I just feel like it's gearing up a little bit, and maybe I should. Here, we'll go to a higher time frame. Where's my weekly? Oh, I have 2 ARM weeklies on my eSignal. That's incredibly useful, Neil. Let's go to a weekly chart, and then I can just double click, and then that full screen. I like my new layout on it. And the other thing on the weekly is it's never really touching the 200 period on the weekly, so you're dipping well in front of that, but it gives you a bit of a support level. So technically, it did reject the highs. I know some people like the way I look at it, if I have a full allocation, like if I mean to own, let's just say, I don't know, like 20 grand of a stock, let's just say that's what I'm looking to. And I have that much, and it goes parabolic, and it's going into highs, and that's the kind of stock that, to me, I'd look to take some up. Now, if I don't own what I consider to be a full position, then I'm not selling at highs. And I want to be buying dips. IBM's in that bucket for me. I still like it. It's something I want to grow my portfolio. Like I liked it 2 years ago, and I didn't think I got enough, and I want to be adding to it if I can. We have a super chat here.
You bought IBM, right? Is that what you're saying?
But it's a stock that I'm dip buying this year.
Right.
Dip buying this year. Right. That's Reiner Brands. Reiner Brand Eras. Is BABA a good long buy? The problem with Alibaba, the problem with KWeb, the problem with Tencent right now, it's not going to be fundamentals. I'm telling you, if you just simply looked at the multiple, if you simply looked at the business, if you simply look at the opportunities, what they are doing with AI, and you compared compared Alibaba to Amazon, and it wasn't a Chinese company, the stock would be like $300. But you know what? It is a Chinese company.
All right.
We've seen not just whether it's U.S.-China relations, getting added to restricted lists, or it could just be when randomly you have the Chinese government just crack down on a certain industry and then prove that nobody's safe. At any moment, you can get some regulation that they'll do to hamstring their own business. But then it's more of the relation thing. It's in a downward pull. And so fundamentally, fine. I think there's going to be a buy. But I'm saying that as somebody who previously thought the same things and bought it in the 80 level. So that's what I'm waiting for. I think sometimes you zoom it out, and when you're in a big downtrend, either prove that it can break the downtrend, have something fundamentally huge happen. That hasn't really happened yet. But look at the weekly chart. When it was down here before, remember I said look at the accumulation at 80. I don't think, I wasn't the only person around here that was buying Alibaba in this accumulation. I don't think we had to be that smart to be able to see this from, that'll be March of 2022. March of 2022 to
I'm going to print something now.
January of 2025. Look at all that at the 80 level. Well, to me, that's it making a bottom. Right now, it's falling into that level. So I'm not going to try to figure out when Chinese stocks come back into favor. I want to be buying where there were either buyers before, or it just does something boring for a long time and shows me that the sellers are done or the buyers are taking back control. But I think you got to really zoom out to get some perspective, because if you waited for this the last time, you were rewarded, right? Like you're rewarded with the one and only double up that's happened on this stock in a while. So I think you just have to have that level of patience with BABA, or it doesn't matter. You could like Tencent, and I would say the same thing, right? It's just they're very much out of favor. The Nasdaq's at the highs, and look at these guys. They're getting crushed. Let's go back to the desk.
Thank you so much. Let's take a look at the sector. Currently, the SPY up 0.6%, but still in the green on the day. Electric tech, we have NVIDIA up 2.6%. We heard that news earlier with regards to Amazon and NVIDIA, that Amazon is in talks to sell these NVIDIA rival chips to other companies. With that, Amazon and retail trade also up 2.14%. NVIDIA up almost 3% on the day. Apple is trading flat. MU had that upgrade. It's up 9.2%. Followed by SanDisk, KLAC, and TXN, all up, performing well in the green. SanDisk is up 10.5%. GE, however, trading flat. Dell in the red, followed by STX and RTX. In tech services, you have Google and Meta in the green, and you have a little bit of a mixed sentiment in the rest of the sector, where Microsoft, Oracle, and Netflix are all currently trading flat. But Netflix also announced that multi-year collab with Proximity earlier in the day as well. In finance, we have, again, a little bit of a mixed sentiment. JPM has slid a bit more into the red, down almost 2%. BRKB is down almost 1%, followed by MasterCard, Bank of America, and WFC. Moving on over to consumer durables, Tesla was in the red earlier in the day, currently trading flat, making a bit of a reversal over there. Health technology, a lot of it in the red, still continued momentum at that. Lilly and J&J both down 1% and 2.4% respectively. Energy minerals has still continued that drag down from earlier in the day. The sector has nearly slid 2% after US President Donald Trump has signed a deal with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian earlier to end the war in the Middle East. So oil is on watch, completely in the red. And followed by utilities, process industries, health services, communication, everything, a bit of mixed sentiment here or there. And that is all for your sector watch. Sending it back to the guys.
Yeah, I've been really interested in financial sector. The Alaskan pipeline. Yeah, Neil, what the hell are your thoughts on the Alaskan pipeline?
I don't really have deep thoughts.
Come on, man. Just have some thoughts on it.
I mean, I could probably share some general political thoughts in Canada that I will probably keep to myself because it's not that big. But no, I don't have any deep thoughts on the Alaska pipeline, and I will not pretend to be some kind of an expert. Let's just be real. So I'll try to stay in my lane there, and I won't get into Canadian politics too much. That'll just bore you guys. Adam Jones, what the? I didn't even get a chance to read the Adam Jones one.
Something about Tesla. Tesla is going onto the I side right now.
What was? Shoot. Anyways, okay, Matthew. Just because you guys are awesome, rock on as well. But I saw the question from Adam Jane. There he is. Ban all.
That's what it was.
Ban all massive mass surveillance centers.
Yes.
No, I can't necessarily hate on that.
That's true.
And
Here we go,
Big Neck. What are your thoughts on TWO? Well, we got a date. Okay, first things first. House cleaning. It did get the 90s on Rigetti, so instead of getting trailed out, it did pop. So remember. How many lessons have we done on VWAP? I was shorting into VWAP. It was wrong. Reverse into the long off of VWAP, and then it goes back into the high. But thoughts on take two? I'll maybe have to look up, because they did give us a date on Grand Theft Auto. That was this morning, I believe, and I want to make sure we get this right for everybody. Yeah, so it's saying that they're going to, they announced a pre-ordering for Grand Theft Auto 6, and that will be on June 25th. So, well, has everybody not been waiting for this moment? Right, and let's put a weekly up. Forget about the daily. You're going to like this on the weekly a heck of a lot more than you're going to like this on the daily. So if you look at this one, you finally have the moment everyone's waiting for. You've got we can call it like a channel top, back above the 50. This one is set up. It's set up for a breakout. Right now, you might say, okay, well, 1 week from now, maybe it turns into a sell the news event, but there's still that week for it to run into the highs, right? If it ends up being a sell the news, it can still give this break. And now it hasn't done the breakout here until it takes out 247. And then I think that maybe give you like at least 10% into the highs. But this is what everyone's been waiting for. Do I own any gaming stocks? Not really. A very small percentage of it was literally for whats and giggles in my daughter's education fund, which you set up when the kids when they're born, and usually you want to put some conservative stuff in there, which we did. But there's like a small 0.5% or whatever is in Roblox because she loves Roblox. And I asked her, "Do you want that in your account?" And I'm like, "Yeah." The only reason it's a small percentage is because you want to put safe things in there. Roblox not doing it, but that's the only thing I'm even remotely invested in. So I can't say that I'm in this name. But hey, if you've been waiting for Grand Theft Auto, it is poised to break out on this news. It just hasn't quite done so yet. Great day today, but continuation needs to get through 47. Adara?
Yeah, guys, we have our weekly calendar for June 22nd to 26th out. This is usually posted at 3 p.m. on Friday, but tomorrow is off, so I posted it today at 3 p.m. We're going to get the daily calendar at 3:30 p.m. for Monday. Let's get into this. We do have some economic data on watch, specifically on Thursday and Friday. Thursday morning, you get what's often called the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, PCE and core PCE month over month and year over year. Friday morning, you're going to get University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations coming through at 10 a.m. A couple different earnings here in the early mid portion of the week. The largest by far is going to be Micron after the bell on Wednesday. 4 p.m. sharp is when that report is set to be released. Other events that I'm just seeing off the top that I know are of note next week that didn't fit cleanly into this calendar. You've got Amazon coming through here with their Prime event starting on Tuesday the 23rd, ending on Friday the 26th. You also have NVIDIA with its shareholder event, annual shareholder meeting that's kicking off at 12 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, June 24th. Now, again, those events are not on the weekly calendar, but they are going to be on the daily calendars for each of these days. And I have to say as well, I like to repost. If I see one of these events, I'll post something really quick about it right ahead of time. As such, I was aware of the HPE Discovery event before we had the big move on said event. So keep an eye on XFTV Research. We like to remind you if there's going to be a big company or industry-specific event coming up so you can catch the move before the rest of the market does. Back to you.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick look at Money Talks, and then we have Juan coming over to give us a rundown of the Asian markets with Adara. Let's talk some money here. So the dollar index today hit a high of 100.8, which is the highest level since the 19th of May, 2025. Investors are reacting to this Federal Reserve signaling yesterday that interest rates may potentially rise this year. We have the U.S. dollar that also hit high of 160.89 against the yen. That's its highest level since July 11th of the year 2024. Finally, the Bank of England has voted 7-2 to keep interest rates at 3.75%, which is as expected. Bank of England has also trimmed the Q4 inflation forecast to a little, quote, a little over 3.25%. That's your rundown for the money. Sending it back to the guys.
Cool.
You get an intro, you get an outro.
Yeah, you get everything.
You get it all.
We will have the one and only one coming up very, very soon. And I'm just about to be out of SpaceX soon. This breaks through 181. We're going to get out. I mean, we have smaller pieces left. It's still more than 10%, maybe 15, 16% left or so on this. I'm not going to average it in, man. It looks like SpaceX wants to go for a ride here into the rebalancing. I'm going to, we have some information on the rebalancing, so I do want to cover some of that at some point. But okay. Oh, thank you so much, Bob B. I mean, we just showed you. See, you guys know Adara. One's coming up here in a couple seconds as well. So, I mean, it's a real. By the way, there it goes. We'll slap fail on the last 10%, but there goes SpaceX.
Well, we know that these 2x work perfectly because they broke at exactly the same moment, which is exactly what they're supposed to do.
And there it goes, man. Now it's a nice little upside push there. I actually think we could get a long in on SpaceX now that we've finally broken above sort of its little area right there. But this is what I've been talking about here today, and this is what we're looking for any of these, share increases, decreases, and all that. Here we can. All right, happy Father's Day. Thank you so much. Yeah, it means a lot to obviously Neil and I here with our kids as well as our fathers. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for your guidance work and putting up with us. Hey, no problem.
Putting up? No, we enjoy it. Putting up.
Yeah, putting up with you guys can be a lot, but we do appreciate it, and we want to thank everybody for joining us. And yeah, well wishes to you and yours and your father and anybody that you're celebrating it with. Lucky enough to some people who still have grandfathers around. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Spend all the time you can, with loved ones, especially on a weekend like this. Yeah, here's the what's expected today. You can take a screen cap of this if you want. Marvell, these are just some of the returns that are actually, today Marvell, this is old news, but, up huge. They're saying it should only add about 4%, to what's, the net name on Marvell today, but we're up. There's a lot of things happening today anyways. But we've got addition coming up from Marvell, share decrease on Salesforce. We've sort of seen that stock react accordingly today as well. There's Flex. I mean, there's a whole bunch of names. There's NVIDIA with a decrease on NVIDIA, an increase on Western Digital, decrease. So 2 chip names getting decreased. And we can go over and look at, CoreWeave and everything that's been on here. These CoreWeave's not even on here right now. But more information to come as we start to look at, what's been trading and how we think the trade's going to look in the next couple hours, or the next half hour, actually, before this market winds up closing. But a little bit of a look there. All right, man, you've been waiting for them. It's one at the desk.
Here we are at 3:30 p.m. as we are every day at 3:30 p.m. to talk the Asian markets with one. Now, are we going to get an Asian market open tomorrow? Because I know we have the U.S. market off. Can traders still participate if they wish in the Asian market tomorrow?
Thank you, Dara. Yeah, U.S. markets are going to be off tomorrow, but if you are trading in Asia, definitely they will be open. So here are some of the things that happened overnight and what to look forward to tomorrow. So huge milestones being reached overnight. Kospi hitting 9,000, up by 2.2%. Even the Nikkei 225 in Japan hitting the historic 71,000 barrier. So that all the buyers are anticipating all the low input costs. So definitely such good things to see, especially on the surge of tech and AI optimism. We see capital shifting from consumer platforms to hardware. Murata and Screen, they jumped by between 7 and 8% in Tokyo. And Samsung, as well as SK Hynix, they also reached record peaks. So a lot of good things coming out. The only issue I saw overnight in the Asian markets was the Hang Seng. They fell by about 1.59%, making it 8th straight decline for, I don't know, money probably abandoning traditional tech, chasing that of memory as well as silicon. But what can we expect tomorrow during the Asian market? So take a look at the record high fatigue. So we see Kospi, Tokyo all opening maybe on a high, but there might be some early morning volatility, as well as oil prices. That's one big thing. If prices do stay low, transportation and manufacturing stocks could see aggressive buying in the morning. And also keep an eye out on the pressure coming in from the US dollar on the yen and the won as well, because there might be some central bank intervention, as well as some verbal warnings on the final trading day of the week. So those are the things that you should keep an eye out for tomorrow.
Lots to keep an eye out tomorrow, whether it's currency or stocks themselves. Thanks again to One for this Asian market moment. And you can catch them as well at 11:30 a.m. every day the U.S. markets are open to talk about the euro close. Thanks.
Thank you, One. It is now 3:30, so we have 30 minutes to go. Remember, end of the week, end of the quarter. I told you there were going to be some big numbers. And this is just the early look. Remember, all the big action, a lot of the big action is happening on Nasdaq stocks. Like Marvell's a Nasdaq stock, obviously, and that's supposed to be the biggest one. But CDE, early look buy, 16 million. QNC, what the? 22 million buy side here for QNC, early look. Trox, you see 8 Abbott Labs there. Sunbee, 7 million. SMR, early look, 6.7 million buy side. Look, I can't read every single one. We'll try to get the ones that are key. CCL, they report next week, 5.2 million to the buy. Pins a sell of 4.8. Warby Parker, 4.8 million sell. These are all gigantic. But remember, this is not these are early looks. Nothing in the J&J there for a sell, 3 million. None of these include the Nasdaq names, like your Mag 7s. Like if Tesla shows up, or NVIDIA shows up out of nowhere, heck, I mean, SpaceX could easily have an imbalance on it as well. We're going to see them all locked and loaded about 15 to 20 minutes. So, yeah, don't get too overwhelmed. This is normal in the June rebalancing to see absolutely gigantic numbers. It's a matter of, like, what are you looking for? We know the names that are kind of really important, but this obviously stands out. I mean, QNC's done 22, sorry. It's done 1.2 million, sorry, to correct that, 22 million imbalance.
And it's done 1 million?
And it's done 1.2 million shares. So that kind of instantly becomes interesting to me, but you know, I think the first place I'll be looking at 350 is going to be Marvell. It doesn't have to go up. And to be honest with you, I actually would prefer it just from a closed trade perspective if Marvell wasn't up 13% and at the high of the day. No, but for real, like if it's a buy imbalance, like I'd like it if it was for the trade. I'd rather it be at the low of the day right now.
Look at CoreWeave. CoreWeave's a buy and it's at the low of the day.
Yes,
just bounced off.
But Marvell's supposed to be so much bigger. That's the thing. Yeah, Marvell's the one.
Marvell's the one.
It's the one that's going to be, in theory, the largest interest on the investment.
I have a buy on Marvell if it goes through 330. So I'm going to take the long if it goes through 330. So that's just what I'm going to be doing very, very soon on MRVL if it breaks. I mean, I'm hoping it does, but as Neil mentioned there, we don't know where these imbalances are going to come, and they often come the other way. So we're going to be ready for that. And some of the additions, I actually retweeted them. I want to thank Adara for it. It's right here. There's the concert we were at. Where's the, oh, it's down here, where is it, there it is right here. Yeah, so this is what's being added and not added and deleted in today's NASDAQ 100 rebalancing, right? It's also, it's S&P, it's everything, isn't it everything today? As we go, but the big NASDAQ.
It's SPY too, but the NASDAQ just had the more interesting names, so I did a NASDAQ visual, and this also came out like way more recently, the NASDAQ one.
Yeah. But MSCI is next week.
Yeah, MSCI.
So like SpaceX is getting added to the MSCI. That'll be next Friday. They do theirs at the month end for
right.
I actually don't even know why they do month end, but they do.
All right, all good. Yeah, so this is what's happening right there. This is why I said maybe let's look at CoreWeave right now, right? This is the NASDAQ 100. We're expecting Marvell because of the S&P 500. But for right now, Nebius, Rocket Lab, these are a lot of names that you guys are talking about. So even if we just keep that right here and we start to look and see, some of these names, ALAB, what's ALAB been doing here in the last hour or so as it gets ramped up and ready to go. Now, most of these are NASDAQ names, so if you look at our imbalance locator, and you guys tell me if you know of any other place that will show you NASDAQ imbalances, because I, my friends, do not know of one. But if there was one, I'd look now. So everything right now, Amex or New York listed. So we don't have any of these. So ALAB right now, up 10% and trying to hold VWAP, that might be worth a look, right? Because it's on VWAP. So if it does come out a buy, and what a buy would mean, and by the way, that SpaceX is now at 183.50. Man, we were right. Well, we weren't right. We should have gone long when it broke our level there. CoreWeave, as a name that I just mentioned to Neil, near its lows, only up 0 right now. So there's an opportunity there for anybody to get involved with CoreWeave. I don't think you would hate yourself if you bought some. Nebius, this is a name that I really like, man. They've got the data centers pumping as well over there in Europe. Some deals with Nebius, include Intel, include Oracle, include Microsoft, include NVIDIA. So Nebius, really a stock to watch out for. They're only up 0.4, so there could be a trade there. Rocket Lab, I mean, we're seeing SpaceX is now 184, so it's really trying to go. And we bought some more SpaceX today at 172. Let's see if it winds up working out. Rocket Lab down 2% again. Could be something there. Look at the sell that happened earlier on in the day. We'll wait to see what happens with Rocket Lab. And the last one, Teradyne, TER. We'll see what that winds up doing here. They're all NASDAQ names, of course, and that's already a nice move for Teradyne. And you can see on the daily, it's right up near its highs there. So, all the names right here that we're expecting to have a move are kind of moving around. So no surprise here for all of these names. And there goes SpaceX. Someone in the chat said, as soon as Sean gets out, this thing's going to rip. And I don't hate you for that look, because I think that's something that I was shorting this 180. It looked like a decent level, right? So once it breaks, there it goes. We get out of our short and do not go long. And I wish that was a little long-winded candle right there instead of me always long-windedly talking. But that would have been a good one, breaking 181 up to 184. Gives yourself a pat on the back if you took that, man. That was a nice $3 break. And I'm learning, again, more and more every single day, 4 years of experience trading, but doesn't stop you from learning. And it's just about trying to find the right stocks at the right levels. And when they start to break, you should probably reverse, and especially if it's a hot name, right? So SpaceX on everybody's radar. We just talked about this with Steve as well. Getting most questions he gets is on SpaceX, and it makes sense. And even though it's only had 4 days of trading, there it goes to the upside and still matching, right? Volume comes in right there on the break. It's getting ramped up into the close. That is SpaceX. And then the only trade that I have on, because I do think people will come for Marvell at the end of the day, is Marvell. So we'll wait to see what that winds up doing, but I like the stock, and I think if it can break through, some of these levels of 330, the high of the day, I'm going to wait for 330 to break. There's going to be a big, to me, there's no point in getting long right here at 329.70. It would be the high break of the day, but then it's just going to run into 330 anyways, and if it stops at 330, it's going to tank. So I'd rather have it, maybe not tank, but I'd rather have it break and then play the momentum high side as wow, man.
You want it to come out as a bid. That's the thing. If it comes out as
jets, but I might get long before.
But the thing about having a stop order is that if it comes out as a sell, in theory, you're not triggered. But SpaceX is picking up on volume. It's almost as if they're buying into it. Sorry about those. It's almost as if really the way the volume is picking up, the accumulation is already starting to happen in SpaceX. We know this is already going into the NASDAQ, so the passive buying is there. It doesn't necessarily have to be all at once. This is not like the Marvell where all the buying happens now, but this is absolute buy program madness. The high this morning in the opening range, at least that you can tell pretty easily, is about 188. Does it find resistance there? Maybe, maybe not. But at this point, I would suspect if there wasn't a buy and balance on it now, like someone's anticipating that there's going to be one that's going to flash at 350. Some important things to remember. whatever happens at 350, at 355 and 358, if you're riding a trade because it has a gigantic imbalance, those are moments that things tend to pair off. Maybe not the whole thing, but certainly large portions of it at those two particular times. And a lot of times, we've been seeing this before. On the really big ones, they're starting to pair before 355. Like you'll see 53, 54, people get ahead of those moments for those trades. So yeah, the velocity, and it's not just, look, it's not just SpaceX that was moving. Rocket Labs actually had a volume spike and a breakup maybe 20 minutes ago. Same thing happened on Core. So a couple of names that are also getting added to the Nasdaq are making some early runs. So the three names I have up are going to be it's Rocket Lab, CoreWeave, and Marvell. And I could have that QNC, that $3 stock up there as a fourth, but that's what I want to see. That's what I want to watch for sure. Luis saying it's going to 200 by the end of the day. What is this stock in $200? There's been gravity around that price on Fed Day. Well, Fed Day was yesterday, so. No, yesterday, it just kept testing 200 over and over and over again. And then that's exactly what it tried to break when Warsh was on the podium, and it just couldn't do it. And then it made the turn into $200 level. So there's been some gravity there. Also go the day before that. There was a good back and forth and closing around the $200 level. So maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants to get to the two bills. There's options on this now, so all the big major strikes could have some pull towards them, I would say. So we'll see.
What's the big deal? Like, why is this Quantum Emotion Corp?
I don't.
Why is QNC on here? I mean,
I have no
where's
idea.
it there at?
It's not in the notes that I've been able to find.
Yeah, because right here we do have a big imbalance, and I see. Oh, I apologize. It was somebody that's always in our chat there talking about QNC. I don't know who it was. I forget. Oh, now it's gone.
It's been popping back and forth.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just nothing. Okay, maybe it's a nothing burger there on QNC. That might be my bad on that one. Maybe there is nothing. So yeah, we can. And again, why I say that is whenever they disappear, I tend to stop kind of looking at them, right? And I think that's for good reason. Like if there it is again on the Amex. So I don't really know why it keeps showing up. It might not be, as we would say, it's a fugaze. It might just be like a fake, kind of someone putting in some bids here to get some people interested in because it is a quantum name. So I would just say be careful with that QNC. It's obviously not reacting to anything like this. So, hey, we could be completely wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that would be the case. So, but this CDE is a buy, and look what's happening to CDE right now as that just continues to go up to the upside here as well. So, Coeur Mining, I think they were on the list somewhere. I think this is a Canadian name, to be honest with you, but there goes CDE now. It is? Okay.
It's expected buy, one of the bigger ones.
One of the bigger buys, so that will probably come out here.
It's dual listed, yeah.
Yeah, so in Toronto, that will come out as a nice little buy there. So we'll have a look at that one. SMR, wow, big buy on SMR, which might be why it's up 10% here today as buyers are trying to get some Sam Michael Roberts in their life. Pins as well there. That's down to 4 million, 5 million shares on the sell side of that one. That's not a great looking stock either. Anything else of interest on here? We talked about Blue Owl here, going back and forth with their capital and what that's meant for some of their software as service stocks. That's a buy actually coming into play there. And so that's what's going on. In about 9 minutes, we get the truth, and that will all come out, and we'll see what's going on.
Exactly.
9 minutes away.
And remember, it's going to be a busy board, but we'll get questions. I know Scott's asking about, well, when SMCI comes out, can you let me know what the imbalance is on that? That's fair. I mean, I can add that one to my board. Just understand that we can't look at every single one. And believe me when I tell you, if it's not multiple millions, it's going to be a search for it and scroll for it, or I have like a list of my own that I have, and so I can just add them to that list, and we'll be able to know. Nick Dubs with the super chat. Hey, what up, Nick? I did that shake thing.
It's reshake.
Oh god, I hate
reshake.
Yeah, I know. Then you got to shake it again.
Just shake it off.
Shake it off.
There we go.
Bull flag, flat top breakout on Beam incoming. You must mean on a daily. Okay, yeah, you mean on a daily chart. I pull up the 3-minute chart. I'm like, there is nothing happening on that stock. You like a flat top break? We were just talking about accumulation for a very long period of time with Alibaba at the same levels, and here's Beam with a sort of a similar look, although maybe a wider range because the top to bottom that's like 250%. The lows are 14, the highs are 35, but that's a very long accumulation with a potential break. This is the kind of thing you want to look for. I mean, I like it. I tend to prefer when I can coincide stocks making those bottoms with grabbing the 50 and 200s if I can, as opposed to having to buy that top. But yeah, accumulation's accumulation. The example we really liked was, of course, Alibaba, and that was more. I think, when something's falling that far, we always get a lot of questions about it, which just reminds me, is CRM going to catch a bid? How far is this thing down today?
SpaceX is super.
It has a chance. It's non-zero. It'll probably take a buy and balance, but maybe the streak gets broken today. All it needs is a buy and balance, and this will end the 12-day streak. It's going to be at 13 at this point. So where's the SpaceX now? It's still going?
Yeah, man, it's 188. It was a 181 break that we should have had.
Wow.
And there it goes. I mean, we did have the break. We just covered our short. That's all. But yeah, there it goes, right into space there. Pun intended. I mean, this name seems to be a rocket ship. Yeah, who's got those diamond hands?
Well,
hit it. I don't have that one, the rocket ship one.
No, where's the new one? There it is.
Oh, 188 just kind of bounced. So I think if this that one. Sorry, USA. Yeah, USA looks to be damaging the moon there.
That was supposed to be Mars.
Oh, the Mars. I wasn't watching.
I don't know why we're crashing on Mars. It's kind of a bad look for SpaceX, but
look.
That's our new rocket ship one. We have another one, which I could have just hit this one, which is a little more standard.
That's better.
It destroys it.
That's destroying it either way.
Yeah, what happens to the Earth if the moon?
I think we're right here for a short on SpaceX. Like, that's 190.
That's a problem.
It's just, we just talked about it with all this sort of fake volume coming in. It's real volume, but it's, isolated by the Nasdaq 100, by rebalancing today, the last day of the week. And again, we do have Nasdaq 100 rebalancing, and it seems like there's a lot of people that are getting excited off SpaceX. Look, I'm happy. We bought a day of the IPO or day after the IPO at 170, maybe it was day of, and then we just put some more in the account today at 172. So, happy with what's been happening here with SpaceX there. I think we could see 172. Like, I don't have FOMO. I'm still waiting for 150s. If that can come in, maybe 155, 156, something like that. But there goes SpaceX right back up to the upside. We could take another look. Like, it's CoreWeave addition today into the Nasdaq. It's trying to go right now. That could be something to run to VWAP, and definitely not out of the line for that one. Marvell on the run up as well. I'm still waiting for 330 break. If 330 breaks, I'm going to go long. I don't know if we'll be into that mock, which is the market on close order, or not. But if we can get a Marvell trade, and I'm honestly, if we take 330 and don't go, I'm getting out. Like, I'm going to get out probably at 329. And honestly, take a $1 hit on this one. Like, I do expect it to keep going if it does go. So if it doesn't do that and the trade doesn't work out the way that you are expecting it to, there's two choices. Either, you change your expectation, you try to figure out, like, okay, maybe where is this name going from here? Or you just get out, and that would be what I would choose on that option today, would be just to say back away, from the trade itself and see what happens to Marvell. After the imbalances are released. So if that breaks through 330, great. We'll take it, and then we'll give ourselves $1 worth of room on MRVL. So that's a trade that I'm looking to do right now.
Yeah, I'm going to look for the other side of the imbalances.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to try to get in if I find something after 350. With only about 3 minutes to go, a lot of the bigger ones seem to have gone away here. SMR is still there for 6 million. But a few names have kind of tapered off a little bit. Nike, all of a sudden, is one of the bigger names to sell for 4 million shares there. And we'll just see. Like, I think, obviously, a lot of attention's going to get paid to Marvell, but I don't think you want to forget A-Lab, CoreWeave, Rocket Lab, even some of the things that are supposed to be coming out, like a Zscaler, could be interesting. Oftentimes, it might be not the top name on the list that everybody's mind is on that ends up moving the most. I remember, like, what was it? Like, the last big imbalances we saw, like Intel had just a gigantic one out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that ended up being one of the biggest movers. And like, I was looking left, and like Intel was like the best reversion trade at 355 that I'd seen in a while. And it's like, well, maybe you should have been paying attention to boring old Intel. So you have an open mind, because there's going to be a lot of big numbers in a couple of minutes. Let's go back up to the desk, and then we have the imbalances coming through.
Yeah, oh yeah, wow.
Let's talk a little crypto and send it back to Neil. JP Morgan earlier had said that Bitcoin mining economies have worsened as BTC trades below production costs. Now let's look at BTC currently trading around the 62,800. Am I reading that right? Yes, sorry, 800 region. Market tone is a bit cautious, but there is also some evident institutional demand that is providing a bit of support. I was going to take a look at Ethereum here, currently at 1,700 region. The extension of the US-Iran ceasefire has improved broader market appetite, I would say, definitely, and also has helped stabilize a little bit Bitcoin and Ethereum stabilizing a little bit here. But that's all for your crypto. Sending it back to the guys.
Up to look at it either. Yeah, we were just talking. There are different. We'll show you TSX orders as well today. There's different orders, and I have a TSX window here. I can show that to you. We're expecting some imbalances there, and they just have a different mechanism, I guess is what I'm looking for, not mechanic, of filling orders and order acceptance and whatnot. Okay, man, here we go. We are now moments away. As you can see, Marvell is really just whipping around right now, very whippy. That is for sure on MRVL. It's now down to 27. So it just like paired off like a lot. So I don't know if this is going to come at buy or a sell right now as Marvell. Now 1 minute away. SpaceX just did a little dumpity dump as well. They're into 186. So there's definitely something happening right now as we get real excited for these market and close imbalances today as, markets moving around. Let's go back over to Marvell and have a quick look and see if anything does happen. We are now 40 seconds away. We do expect a big buy to come out here on MRVL. Now, if it goes the other way, which is maybe it's indicating, I mean, I don't know what it's even thinking of right now. I'm going to take a small bit long. I'm only taking a quarter of a unit. It's not going to be the end of the world. Then my stop's going to get hit immediately because I'm going to lose $1 on it. So we're going to try to go upside on Marvell. Here it comes. We just got to dip into 326. Talk about violence right now. I mean, the market is choosing violence today as we bounce in and around some key levels here, including this one right now for Marvell.
Absolutely. 10 seconds to go, everybody. You're going to see it light up very quickly. It'll be overwhelming in a certain sense how big the number is going to be on the imbalances. Yeah. So we're just lock and load. We're going to give them all to you. It's the last
SpaceX right back up again.
Yeah, SpaceX to the upside. So
Marvell just what?
Must come
321.
Must have come the wrong way.
Wow, Marvell just got clapped to the downside.
Clapped to the downside. Intel's a sell, 9 million. Netflix,
I don't even see them on here.
9 million.
There we go.
Marvell is a sell of 4 million shares. That's why I have this one up. So Marvell is actually a sell imbalance. So came out the wrong direction on Marvell. What else do we have here?
Wow, Marvell. Look at Marvell's chart. Come over to me, first of all.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
314 right there for Marvell. Wow. Getting absolutely crushed right there to the downside. So that's an imbalance trade gone sort of wrong right there on Marvell. I can take a little bit here to see if let's take a little bit of Marvell here. I'm only going to give it to 312. If it breaks 313, we're out on Marvell. There's Marvell, instantly in the money, $2 on Marvell. What's up, Adara?
I was going to say, you guys see that S&P 500 imbalance that I thought I misheard, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
9 billion to the sell side.
Look at Marvell. Marvell is now $4 in the money. We say imbalance. What's that? There goes Marvell. Nice move to the upside right there. As again, we're taking the risk, right? I mean, if you don't take the risk, you don't get the rewards here. So we're going to try it right now with Marvell. There it is, man. Let's go. There's a quick another $3. Hey, we're here to trade these imbalances. Why do you think we're sitting here? We're here to trade these imbalances. I put it on right there. Let's wait to see. It may not work out. I'm already out of a third of this Marvell trade.
Scott, I can't even find it so small on SMCI. It's literally 30,000 shares. Complete absolute nothing burger. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from anything that's the wrong direction.
Oh, boy.
That's a little too crazy for me. I'm not going against the imbalance. I've seen that go nastily, but nothing that we were expecting to be gigantic is gigantic. It's really all the other direction, with the exception of that flex and that CDE, which is 5.7 million. CRM is also a sell of 5.7 to the downside. So those are some of the bigger ones out there. But Marvell, it's currently
$6.
Unless it flips, I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But there it is, man. $6, $7. I mean, Marvell is just an absolute monster right here, right now. We couldn't be feeling, honestly, any better about trading these days. I mean, Marvell's been, look, I mean, this is, we bought it. we did it live in front of you guys, so there it goes, man. Lots of opportunities, take advantage of that. We are looking at Marvell. Like Neil said, we've seen so many imbalances, and when things go the wrong way and they dump like that, seems to always, what was another one that was the wrong way? It's probably rebounding as well. So was Flex a sell? I'm not even sure, but that was on the board as well there. Look at that. There's a huge move up for Flex. It's just, this is what money making is all about, man. Sometimes you do got to take the risk, and I do understand it's not for everybody, and that's fine. But there it goes, man. $6 on that, and that's it. I don't have anything else going on. Well, why do I need it? But there's SpaceX 190.
SpaceX is a buy.
That's a monster there. But hey, it is what it is, as we always say, and we did it. So we're out right now of basically 80% of this Marvell trade. $6 in the money. We got to take that. We've been doing good. It just went to VWAP. So there we go. We have less than, like I said, more than a third, less than a third left on this trade, probably about 15% or so left on this. I'm going to take another out right now, and then we'll just let the rest run. So there it is. We get $319.50. There it goes, man. $5 on SpaceX and on Marvell. So Marvell, SpaceX, Intel today, Amazon today as well. Amazon was a pretty good trade, short until it wasn't. It broke higher up into 345 on some more chip news. But yeah, just getting out of these trades now I think is the next key, and we'll wait for 355 and we'll see if there is any sort of rebalancing happening on that. And it's just QNC actually. Looks like QNC was a buy, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything there. I'm not sure if someone got long at $3.
Something fishy with that stuff.
Maybe they did, but everything else, man, definitely working in the right direction. Hey, thanks for being here on Rebalance Day, man. I wasn't here yesterday. I'm sure there was some big trades off of.
Well, it was just short, but it was just short the.
Yeah, the Fed. I'm sure you guys were short or did something there,
but closed trades.
No, I'm just talking about the Fed. Yeah, and then today here we go. Good opportunities, obviously, to see what's going on with Marvell, and there it goes. So I'm getting out. I have very few shares left, under 15% now. Let's just wait to see for 355 if it continues to tank down. My stop's there. This was $1 worth of risk. We're getting out if it breaks 313. That was always the case. So now we'll just let it ride here. What a great way to end the week.
Absolutely. And remember, too, sometimes you get these flashes down, and it can be, it could be like a different buying opportunity. Like if you've been looking to buy the dip, if it goes crazy print down because it's a sell imbalance and it's about 355, sometimes that can be a quick little scalp trade. So 55 is about to hit. You can already see a lot of things that started to pair off. I'm kind of curious to see what happens on that QNC. If that goes to absolutely like 0 or something, but it's staying for now. That stock seems like it wants to be 20 million to buy. That makes no sense to me. But WFC maybe, that CDE, be careful if you're trading CDE. That's 6 million to the buy side. Do you have Toronto? Was it also a buy?
Oh, I didn't see it.
It's trending higher, but Toronto's try to remember that's dual listed. I don't have the Toronto imbalances up.
I do. They're not. There's nothing. They're not huge. Or CVVN or something.
I was going to say, if you're trading something dual listed, make sure the imbalance is on both, because they can sometimes be buying one, selling the other.
Wow,
SpaceX. People get absolutely destroyed. SpaceX
There's a lot
is
going
the story right now. Like if we're talking about volatility, they went from program buy to buy imbalance to sell it back off going into the close. SpaceX currently, I'm still seeing 1 million shares to buy.
Oh, you have it
but
marked?
50 million paired. So that 1 million is meaningless.
Right.
Right now, the open interest on SpaceX's close is 51 million shares. So they've paired it all off, and that's why you're probably seeing it come back in. That's a quarter of the day's volume. And this is supposed to go in the MSCI next week on Friday. What's that supposed to look like if today was just sort of a random, and it's getting passively bought into the indexes, and we get a 50 million close? Sheesh. That's absolutely intense. We said, be careful at 355. Look what happened to that Flex stock. This is sort of the thing. Like, you can't chase it. You either get it, you either can get the break or you can't on something like this. Adara?
Breaking news.
So I want to specify here, there's a big caveat on this. I'm going to tell you guys the story, then I'm going to give you the caveat because I saw an aspect of this earlier. Either way here, I guess Washington Post, or a reporter for the Washington Post by the name of Dan Lamoth, he works for military affairs in Washington Post. He's basically mentioning this quote in a book that just came out, I think, today, where I guess President Trump was asked by Jeff Bezos to advise officials in charge of government space contracts to seek contractor diversity. Now, the significance of this is if they do seek contractor diversity, they could say bye-bye to SpaceX and go to Blue Origin. for some of the contracts. Now, again, I mentioned caveats. One of the biggest caveats is this book already came out. This information is not new. It's just being reposted. So again, here, there are some concerns that I guess Jeff Bezos called President Trump and said, hey, can you consider contractor diversity? Meaning, can you consider Blue Origin instead of SpaceX for certain contracts? This is all, as I mentioned, very A, not brand new, and B, super, super what if hypothetical, but that's the headline that I did see on SPCX just now. Back to you.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah, but Bezos, y'all build that launch pad back already?
that blew up.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe.
well, I'm not an engineer, but it takes over a year to rebuild that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, Neil, is that this book is about the aftermath of the 2024 election. So presumably he said that to Trump a long time ago.
Okay.
So maybe even before he was inaugurated. The timing on this is really fuzzy, which is why I said be careful with that headline. I just wanted to let you guys know because there was that drop.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not just saying, I own way more shares of Amazon than I do of SpaceX.
I hope so.
But it's not even close. It's a lot more. But at the same time, look, SpaceX way ahead of, oh, there it is. Just a new piece thing. Way ahead in terms of capability than Blue Ocean. Not to mean that there won't be any competition. We did miss this super chat. There was action on Netflix. I believe we did. We went over, Netflix was about a 5 or 6 million imbalance, something in that range. And then look at what happened at before 355, they already started to pare it down. So big price action, let us go. I don't see Netflix anymore. It was 5, but by now most things have paired off. This is what you're gonna see. Like a few things, like all the early big numbers are there, and look what stayed. Pfizer has stayed, Coty is still big, but not much. And on my little board that I'm watching over here, like the ones that are still of a decent size, that CDE, apparently CRM, SpaceX is still a decent size. But remember, SpaceX 3 million is built differently because it's done 250 million shares today. And the paired volume is gigantic on SpaceX. They're still selling it off. As we speak. Less than a minute to go here. Easy peasy. Hey, good to see you, Easy peasy. 1K auto trading with agent built with Claude Fable. Oh, you wait till now to tell us? Hey, great to hear that. Maybe we'll ask you more about that automated trading next week, because I know a lot of people are looking to do that. Robinhood has added that. I don't know if how well I would feel about that trading for me in my long-term account, but the closing bell is upon us, everybody, and it's brought to you by VFS. Shout out to VinFast. Nice looking vehicle, ticker VFS. Thank them for sponsoring this closing bell, because it's the end of the first half of the year. Options expiration.
Almost the end of the first.
Almost. Well, you know what I mean. It's a quarter. It's the semi-annual rebalancing today. You saw what just happened with all the imbalances. Marvell is now, well, technically effective on Monday, into the S&P 500. Congratulations to Rocket Lab as well. Do remember, tomorrow, we're not going to be here. We are here every day the market is open. But the U.S. markets are closed tomorrow for Juneteenth.
Canadian markets.
Canadian markets are open, but let's be real for a second. The volume is pretty bad. But there can be sometimes that's good opportunities because when the U.S. market's closed, some of the market makers will be like the backups in, and you can find some opportunities there. But also try to remember special day on Sunday. So I want to give a big shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy early Father's Day. Obviously, you know, we're a couple of parents, and you know, we're fathers here, and certainly there's nothing more important than family. You guys are our family, so all the best to you and yours. Any specific plans?
Yeah, like I'm going to go see my dad on Sunday, but we do have to. We're in and around baseball and hockey on Sunday, so we have double events, and we're all pretty full. And I don't know, my kids will have something planned
Surprise,
for
right?
me. I don't know what it is. I love burgers. So if we could do a barbecue,
This is what I'm saying. Keep it simple.
Yeah, like I don't,
yeah.
you know, whatever. But I feel like going out for brunch and all that is a lot of Mother's Day stuff. Brunches.
Brunch is a Mother's Day.
I mean, I'm still down with brunch. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I think that's more. Let's choose a barbecue. A brisket would be real nice to get that going maybe tomorrow morning and let it go all weekend or whatever.
Steak.
You know, their steak is always great. My kids love some steak, but at the end of the day, man, it's just another day. It's more about, you know, for our fathers, I feel like. It's nice to be a father, of course, but you know, what's up to everybody. And how about yourself? You guys doing anything?
Well, I've been told that expect to go out to eat. That's
right, that's what I mean. We're being told stuff.
I've been told we're going out to eat. That's about all I know. But as long as, I get to spend time with my pops who will be coming out with us, and that's all you really ask for. So for everybody out there, hey, want to give a big shout out and thank you to with Mitch this morning, and of course Steve this afternoon. Fantastic job by Darius. He is already gone. Juan doing a fantastic job. We got Fabian, Ramin, Andre, the entire team, Brendo.
Sharif and Popo Joe left real early over
Joe
here.
usually sticks around. Like I look over.
No one was banned from the chat. Oh, there we go. Bye, Popo Joe in there. Don't say that to him. He gets mad for some reason.
Okay, so I didn't. I was joking.
Yesterday?
I was joking because I thought it was kind of a funny thing.
He got really upset at the close yesterday. Like weirdly upset.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know. I thought it was just a funny little thing. I don't take myself that seriously.
Oh, okay.
But
Adara, we did not get a chance to ask you any plans for Father's Day.
So I actually did Father's Day with my dad last weekend because I was in Winnipeg. I bought him this book on the Beatles when they had that Beatles exhibit at the EGO, so I flew that giant thing over to Winnipeg. It was like a big old coffee table book. Nice. So he really liked that, and then right before my plane left, we did like a little early dinner, and then I guess my fam was like, well, we're already celebrating, let's just do all his Father's Day stuff last week. Right. So I think my dad will get like some other Father's Day stuff this week too, but I think it was mostly last week. So happy Father's Day, Perry. You might be watching, so happy Father's Day to you. Thank you.
Was he ever able to see any, maybe McCartney or anybody like that?
We saw McCartney live when I was 13. So I went with him. So that was really, really nice. 13 years old, got to see Paul McCartney live. I don't know if he's seen the other Beatles, but I know he and I also, and one of his friends, we went to see The Who, where Ringo Starr's son was playing drums. So another Beatles connection there.
That's awesome.
Well, stay safe in that yellow submarine.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day as well.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. Marvell 308 and tanking. And I talked about this. I got some off today, right at 329, and we actually just got to fill right at the end of the day when it went up to that price because it had missed us in the past, and I changed it up there to 329 because of that exact reason today. Thought that, and now that's what I'm talking about. You got to get some off, buy the rumor, sell the news, and Marvell today we're able to do really well right there. But yeah, at the end of the day, it fails off that 330, all-time highs for Marvell today. We'll see what happens on Monday. I would say it's too bad because if you could buy options now, I'd buy Marvell options because that's right now you're getting, and I think maybe you can until 415, you're now getting quite the premium, I think, put right back in your pocket off of a fake move down. Like Marvell, there's nothing wrong with the stock. I don't think it needs to be down here right now, but we'll see what happens on. Again,
those big sell and bounces a couple of weeks ago on NVIDIA and Intel, when you came back in the next day, it just filled the gap right back.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I say that kind of stuff. Because I took advantage of it on Palantir one time, and I bought some 130s, and then it opened up at like 150 or something on Monday. So, all right, man, good show. Have a good time this weekend. Thanks to everybody who's out there. Happy Father's Day to everybody that's here at Trader TV Live.
Go Canada.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's in 2 hours, you said.
2 hours.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
I've got, my son has chess, so my daughter has a workout 5:30 to 7 or something. So I'll be able to watch it and hope you guys will too. Good luck, Canada. Happy Father's Day, everybody.